Hey people, it's me. I think it's about time I made an intro, so here goes. On my channel, I talk about being black and managing mental health, so I'm just going to walk you through my personal journey so you can fully understand my passion. I've been like this ever since I can remember. Sometimes I'm vocal, sometimes I'm not. One of my high school teachers finally noticed some potential underneath it all and decided to help me hone into it. The only problem is, men started seeing it too. Insert ex-husbands, who were great initially, who was providing. I started getting more attention. He didn't handle it well. I had a little fun modeling in college, but after studying, I wanted us to have fun. College parties were supposed to be for networking and having fun. But those dudes in the back right there, yep, he wanted them gone. So I'm not the registrar, so I didn't know what he wanted me to do about it. I read some books or whatever, figured out that maybe womanhood is the answer. I told myself I'd give it a shot. I cooked other things. Then I cut my hair short for transformative purposes. Fought off thoughts, wished people would, and I was very proud of myself. Until he felt like this was a problem. We disagreed, so I had to remind him what vows are for.
I didn't say sell me. I said give me.
Anyway, I went to hang out with the girls, get back to the boss me we all know and love, question myself. Then I got into some musical endeavors. I had a little trouble finding my niche, but the fast life got boring, so okay, so what next? It's going through the motions, just being there, but over it. Insert baby daddy. I was cynical, but I went for it. Why not? Yeah, then I regretted it. Started my natural hair and nail journey. Now I'm just out here trying to avoid poverty, giving advice, saving money, devoting my time to being black, elevating my career, missing my bestie, eating right now, arguing with certain chicks, trying to make this lady happy so I can glow again. To be continued.
Well. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. I have a special treat for y'all. I know y'all have seen him around in the chats. Y'all have also interacted with him on panels. He has a channel that he's starting now. So I thought this would be the best time, in my opinion, to get some of my questions answered. So if you guys have questions as well, you can Cash App them or post them in the chat, and we're going to ask. So I want you guys to sit back today, learn something. This is interesting because even if you aren't a member or you have not lived a life, you can see what it's like. These are part of our Black people. We need to understand all of the facets of Black people. So here is one side of it. So welcome, Kane. Anything you want to say to the people?
What's going on, everybody? Peace. This is the God, Kane the God. Let's here to drop a little bit of knowledge, That's all I'm here to do. Drop a little bit of knowledge that y'all open y'all eyes to who y'all really are. And, Topaz hollered at me. She's like, tell me about it. So I'm here to do a little teaching.
Right, right. And and I love teaching. It's not my profession. It was a close second. Well, actually, it was the third choice. After being a lawyer, then a therapist, which I am, and then now teaching would have been number three. So I have lots of questions. I've always been very inquisitive, very curious as a kid. So it did not go away. All that happens is I'm more open with my questions now that I pay all my bills.
There you go. There you
Okay,
go.
so now let me ask this, right? So let me make sure, because I did a little research, right? For those of you who have been in YouTube for the past couple of years, there's another 5%er here, Mr. RJ. He was the first person that I ever saw and even knew that this was a thing. And so it gave me questions. I never interviewed him, but I've been speaking more with Kane. And so I felt like this would be a good time for me to ask that. So from my understanding, I did look it up. My understanding is that you divide the human species into 100%. 85% are just lost. 10% know the truth but are holding it. And then there's the 5% that know the truth and are willing to tell you. So how much did I get right? Correct me.
Nah, you pretty much hit it right on the nose right there. Like pretty much the 85% is basically the deaf, dumb, and blind. That's the majority of the world. That's the 85
Mm-hmm.
percenters, which is the deaf, dumb, and blind to the truth or who they really are. And when I say the world, I mean it's black people. Because as black people, we're all over the world. But 85% of us is deaf, dumb, and blind to who we really are. So that's why we break it down like that. So 85 is basically deaf, dumb, and blind to the truth. 10% is of those that know the truth, but they hide it from the 85%. And they use
Mm-hmm.
it against the 85%. That's usually like governments, the rich, the people that we look at in power. They know what it really is, but they tell us the stories that they tell us. They hit us with the technology. And that's what the 85 live by. The 85 basically live by what the 10% is teaching them. And then the 5% is basically those that know the truth and know who they are. And they move
Mm-hmm.
outside of the realm of the 95%, if you want to break it down like that.
Right, right, yeah. Okay, so now here's my thing, right? I hear when you explain it that way, I hear similarities in religion. There's a tenet that says like the something about the straight and narrow path is less crowded than and the wide path is like where everybody goes is fun and they on their way to hell, that kind of thing. I know I didn't get the words right correctly because once you practice religion, you just live it. You don't actually explain it a whole lot. So I forgot the wording I'm supposed to use. Okay, forgive me. I also hear that in terms of just secular individuals that they say the masses, the sheep, you can't tell them anything. They're not going to get it. They're going to just cause problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hear lots of similarities in other ways of living. So tell me, what do you use to distinguish you guys from the rest of the world?
Well, with
Why
us,
is okay? Basically, why is this not a religion? Why, or is it?
no, it's definitely not a religion. It's a way of
Okay.
life. It's a culture. It's a culture. A culture is a way of life, and that's basically what
Hmm.
it is. It's a way of living. We don't go by religion. We don't believe in the unseen. And when I say
Hmm.
the unseen is in spooks, like we don't deal with things that way, and that's where the differences come into play with a lot of those other things. They tell you half truths. That's why
Hmm.
with being a 5% is all about knowledge. Knowledge comes first. That's the key. That's the key to being God is knowledge because knowledge is infinite. Every day you learn something new. Knowledge has no beginning nor ending. So that's why we live by something. We live by mathematics. When it comes to
Mm.
5%ers, we live by mathematics because mathematics will always be right. 2 plus 2 will always be 4. So
So that's why it's called supreme mathematics. And then you greet people and you say, "What's today's mathematics?" Because I looked that up.
yes, yes, yes.
And
And a lot of it comes from a lot of the fundamentals come from Islam. So 'cause
hmm
I know a lot of times people hear what we say, they're like, "Are you Muslim?" No, a lot of the teachings come from Muslims, but it was elevated by a brother called Clarence 13X, which is the father. He's
hmm
the originator. He's the originator of the 5%ers. You know, he became a Muslim because he was Muslim. That's why I'm trying. This is where I'm
hmm
going. This is where I'm going with this. A lot of teachings comes from They are lessons. But he
Mm-hmm.
elevated it. He elevated it. You know what I'm saying? He was a Muslim, and he became a Muslim in 1960. I think it was 1960. He became a Muslim, and he went to the Temple Number 7, and he studied under Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to follow the teachings, but he something always rubbed him wrong. There's a lot of stories behind it. Like there's a story that says that he had a problem with Wallace Ford. Wallace Ford, I believe is his name. Wallace Ford. Yeah, Wallace Ford, I believe is his name. The well, you would say the head of the Muslim nation of
Mm-hmm.
Islam, American style, because once Malcolm went across overseas, he saw it was different. So there's a difference from Muslims and over there and Muslims over here. But he studied under Malcolm, and he didn't something rubbed him wrong with the teachings, and he elevated it. He took it to another level, and he separated from them. He separated from them in, I think it was 1963. I think it was 1960 when he became a Muslim, but around 1963 is where he separated from them, and he started teaching brothers that they were God, like you are God.
So let me ask you. I know he separated. Something in the Muslim faith made him rubbed him the wrong way. There was something he felt like needed to be uplifted. Did they ever say what he like? What made him pick mathematics? Did they ever say like how was he drawn to that? What was the thing after he left being Muslim? What was the thing that helped him to say, "Hey, this is what we need. This is why we're creating a nation of the 5%ers." And is that am I saying it right? The nation of the 5%ers, or what do I say?
Yeah, it's the nations of it's the 5%ers, the nation of the gods and earths.
Okay, so I'm combining stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
see, that's why I'm
combining
glad
stuff.
that you're here. So
Yeah,
it's
you combining
the
stuff a
five
little bit.
percenters are either the nation of the gods and earths. Got it.
Yeah, definitely. 5%
Okay.
is the nation of gods and earths, NGE.
I gotta change the title too because I put that in there. I was like, I know I saw both of these. I just didn't know. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in there the right way.
Yeah, but he left the Muslims because, like I said, there's different stories. That's why it's a toss up. Nobody really knows exactly why he left. Some say that he left because I believe it was Ford. I believe it was Ford. His mother was white, and he had an issue with that. That's a story. That's one story. And then there was one story that he got kicked out because he smoked, he drank, he gambled, and stuff like that. And being a Muslim, they don't tolerate none of that. So, but
Hmm.
he did all of that, and he looked at it like that doesn't change who I am. Just because these is little vices that I have, that doesn't change who I am as a man. Like I am still an original man,
Hmm.
and he had issues with that. So he stepped away and he elevated the lessons because the lessons, like I said, a lot of lessons come from Muslims, but there's one of the first lessons that we're taught is mathematics. And like I told you, we deal with mathematics because mathematics is always right and exact as long as you're doing it the right way.
Hmm.
So that's why we live by mathematics. If it don't add up, there's a problem. That means you have to go back and reanalyze that. So that's how we live our life by mathematics. That's why that's key. That's the foundation. That's like the foundation of our lessons is mathematics, and then we go into the alphabet.
Yeah, because that was gonna be the next thing. I saw that there's also a supreme alphabet. So
Yes.
first, let me finish with the mathematics, right? So you guys only use the day of the month, right?
Well,
Um,
what we do, we use 1 through 0, and I
right.
mean, and every number has a meaning. Like one is
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. One is knowledge. Wisdom is number two. Understanding is number three. Those are the three first steps you have to do in life every day. You need knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Knowledge is what you know. Wisdom is your ways and actions, and your ways and actions shall make people around you understand, and that's your understanding, showing and proving your understanding. Number four is culture or freedom. Number five is power or refinement. Number six is
Mm-hmm.
equality. Number seven is God, because seven always represents the God. That's why y'all see my little symbol that I be having is the seven. That's part of our flag. But seven is
Mm-hmm.
God. Eight is build or destroy. Nine is born. And once you get to zero, that's cipher. That's your cipher complete. So that's what we base, and all of those have a meaning. There's definitions that go with everything that I just said. I'm not gonna get into. Y'all can come to my channel and I'll teach all of this, but that's basically what it
Right.
is. That's 1 through 10. That's what that means. And every day we live by the math. That's like our Bible, and it's not really a Bible because Bible just basically
Well,
means,
Bible is the actual word. The Bible meaning is a manual, so we
yeah.
just kind
That's
of
why we
have
try to
all.
tell. Yeah, we try to tell
Yeah.
people Bible just basically means basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Right.
That's all. That's just a manual. It's just a manual to make you move a certain type of way. A lot of people take it at face value. And being a 5%, we, like I said, we study everything. Knowledge is infinite to us. So every day we try to learn something new. And a lot of the stuff that we read the Bible because there's a lot of truths in there, but we just don't look at God as being someone in the sky or someone that's looking down on us or somebody that's going to change our life. We understand that we are God within our realm, our life. You are the God within your cipher. You control your life. You take
Right.
accountability for everything that goes on in your life. You have the power to destroy. You have the power to bring forth life. You have everything.
Okay. Well, and you know what? And that's what I'm hearing is accountability because new. So apparently new is a 5%er as well. I did not know. Well, I could guess. That's why I asked. I guessed. But he said the math is always right. It can only be the operator who's not. So it requires you to take responsibility for your actions. Know that there are consequences and outcomes. And if you want something, basically there is no invisible man in the sky. God is within you. And so therefore you are supposed to be the actor that's going to either create or destroy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And I understand 'cause I get into it with a lot of people that deal with religion. And I understand that some people they need prayer to make them feel like something is about to change. But what happens is that you pray and you pray until you as yourself realize like I gotta do something. And then you get up
Mm-hmm.
and do it. That was on you. That wasn't the prayer. That was on you. You just realized like I was bullshitting. It's time for me to
Mm-hmm.
get out there and do it. And this is what I'm
Exactly.
saying. God is in everybody. Everybody's born of God. This is something that we were stripped of this. When they say we were stripped of who we are, we wasn't stripped away from Africa and none of that. Because I don't even say that I'm from Africa. I'm actually Asiatic, an Asiatic black man. I come from where the world was all where all the continents was one.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I begin at. I begin from then. I don't begin by where they tell me to begin from. Like you're African. No, we're not. We're really not. We're
Exactly.
Asiatic. We're Asiatic original people.
Okay. Now let me ask you, right? So how look at Darth. Okay. So when people say what is today's mathematics, and after this we can move on to the alphabet because I have questions about that too. Um, how do you determine what today is? Now, one I noticed is that there's an order to the numbers and their meanings. Is like for me, it seems like it builds on the previous one. So everything starts with knowledge, and then there is you mentioned something about collective around 5 or 6, and then there after that there was build and destroy. So like am I getting that correct? That the numbers, the meanings build upon the previous one to show you the order of any journey for change, anything that you're trying to create, anything that you feel like needs to not exist anymore.
Well, basically, the math when somebody comes to you, they ask you what the math for the day is. They're basically going by what the date is.
Okay.
Like today is the second. So today is wisdom. It's
Okay.
all about wisdom. Everything is about wisdom. And wisdom, like I said, is your ways and actions. So you understanding this, the things that you do, the things you do without throughout the whole day, you're supposed to be showing and proving. Today is like a show and improve day, a show and prove day of who you are. So
Well,
today
how
would be like
fitting
wisdom.
that you're on here and I'm learning something.
There you go.
It
There
just
you go.
worked out. Just divine intervention, providence.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay. Now, so what happens now? How do you get when you get to the double digits? You add them up, like
Now, now,
like the 18th.
yeah, like now when it comes to double digits, like say today was, today was the 14th,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody come to you and ask you, "Look, what's the mathematics, God?" You would have to say knowledge, culture, or freedom, all being born to power. And basically, that's like I was breaking it down to you, and I was telling you that one means knowledge, two means
Mm-hmm.
wisdom. You're basically telling them it's like you do an addition: knowledge, culture, or freedom, all
That's
being
four.
born to power or refinement. So you have to break that down. And when they ask you that, you basically have to break down how do you see that working in your day to day. Like how do you see what you just said? How did you use that today? Like
Mm-hmm.
every day you try to you look at the math and it's like an alarm to let you know, okay, today is that. What am I gonna use that for today to benefit me, to take me for further in life? Because it's
Well,
always supposed to be about it's always supposed to be about elevation.
right.
That's that. Go
I
ahead, you
like
got it.
that because see, it's like when you first wake up, the first thing that you do is start your day out with something positive. And now, I always tell people that your brain has the A roll and the B roll, just like film, right? So on the A roll is all of the day-to-day stuff that you got to do, but on the B roll, you're filling that up already with something that's positive that can help you and benefit like the universe. It just has a lot of benefits to that being on your B roll instead of letting it be filled up with a lot of BS. So you're already
Absolutely.
starting your day off on the right path. And you stay there
Absolutely.
because you have to remember this. And after a while, I'm guessing it becomes second nature and it just flows out of you. You don't even have to think about it anymore.
Yeah. And back in the day when I initially got enlightened, it was a little tough back in the day because knowing these lessons, there was a thing that was show and prove. Like you couldn't just talk this. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you went out there and you said the wrong thing to a brother that he was a god too, you build him with the gods, and you say the wrong thing, you get hands put on you. Like
Mm-hmm.
brothers used to beat you up. Like, nah, you can't come over here and saying that. So you had to live this life. You had to take these lessons seriously. It's not a game. It was serious. Like if you're gonna call yourself that, you have to stand on that and show and prove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so people will be able to see it in your actions, the way you talk, the way you move. It can't just be words that you say. So to me, I feel like that sounds like the gatekeeping part of it. Everybody can't just claim something and just say it because they think it's a fetish or it's cool. They have to
Well,
actually be committed to it.
well, yeah, that's the way it was back then, but it elevated. That's the way it was back then because brothers was definitely super serious back then. Like it was a different vibe. But I elevated because, like you said, like I said, I'm calling myself God. So I mean, my mind always has to elevate.
Hmm.
So I'm not gonna try to beat you up because of this. No, is that you need to take his lessons more serious and get your enlightenment right.
Yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
not gonna. So it's like right now, I know a bunch of guys that do a bunch of crazy stuff, but I could look at it crazy, but to them it could be cool. Like that's what they into. So there is no judgment. As saying that you're God and knowing that you're God, like I said, is you controlling your cipher. What
Hmm.
works for you? What makes your world turn? So by all of us being God, it doesn't mean that we're living under the same standard. The lessons is just the foundation. The lessons is the foundation to let you know, to teach you how to move right and exact in the way you want to live. That's being God. You have complete control of what you want to do in life. And
Hmm.
by you having that control, you have to take accountability in anything that you do in life.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like I think that more Black people should be aware of it because it can give people something very positive to do. It will elevate them, and then we would get less of the foolery that we have
Yeah,
to deal with.
yeah, because we was
When
hit.
you think
Yeah,
highly of yourself, you don't engage in certain things.
yeah.
Now, okay, so New just made a comment. He said the math runs parallel with the alphabet as well. That's the way he sees it. The alphabet is in numerical order. So, talk to me about the supreme alphabet.
Now with the alphabet, everything has a meaning. Every
Of
letter,
course.
Every
I
letter
like, you
has
know
a
what? I
meaning.
like that everything has a meaning because it's way too much meaningless things in the world, and
Exactly.
that's all good and fun for leisure time. But part of being an adult, in my opinion, is that you understand that every second of your day can't be leisure. My biggest pet peeve is adults who feel like they got grown so that they can do whatever they wanted to do. There's a part of that, yes, but the biggest part of you, the mature part of you, is supposed to know that there's something more responsible you could be doing with that time. You balance it out.
Exactly. And that goes back to excuse me, that goes back to number one, knowledge.
Mm,
You have to know your ledge. See, that's
mm-hmm.
another thing we do. We break words up and it gives it another meaning. You have to know your ledge. Know
So
what
is
you
that
want in
about
life.
knowing your limits?
Yes, know what you want in life and what are you trying to do.
Okay.
Know your ledge. You don't want to fall off that ledge.
Right.
Because a lot of people fall off that ledge because they're trying to do too much.
Right. Okay.
But
So,
yeah,
okay, I'm sorry. I'm not interrupting anymore. So go ahead. Talk to me about the
yeah,
alphabet.
yeah,
Everything means something.
yeah. Yeah, everything definitely means something. Like with the alphabet, A is Allah, B is B. See, that's a whole nother. That's me going 26 letters. I ain't gonna break all them down, but all of them
Right.
have a meaning. All of them have a meaning, and there's a definition that goes along with that. That whatever the letter, whatever we use letter for. Like I said, Allah, and then it has a breakdown to that, and we had to learn all of this. You have to learn it and be able to recite it and just know this and live by what you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's those are the found that's what I said, these are the foundations. Mathematics and the alphabet, that starts us for everything. Because now once you understand that, now when you talk to people, you have a different way of looking at words. Or when you pick
Mm-hmm.
your name, everything has like I said, everything has a meaning. It has a meaning that has something to do with something,
Mm-hmm.
if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
that's
and
the
okay, so now this is another thing. At some point, we're going to talk about people who are interested in where they can go for knowledge because, like, again, as part of being an adult, if you are interested and you truly want to know, you do need to do the research. I looked up some things, right? But let me ask you this. For somebody who hears this stream and they decide, you know what, I want to be a part of that. I think that can help elevate my life. Is it something that you choose or is it something that chooses you?
well, it can happen both ways. It can happen both ways because you could bump into it, hearing somebody like you can hear me talking right now and be like,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds interesting. Then you come over and you want to get enlightened. Or you could just be out there talking to some brothers or be in a situation where you're somewhere and somebody just come to you and they give you this knowledge, like, wait a second, bro, I hear what you're saying, but how about listening to this? And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I got it. That's how I got it. I got it from a brother named damn, how I forgot his name. Freedom Born. That was his
Mm-hmm.
name, Freedom Born. And he enlightened me because he heard what I was saying. Because you know what I'm saying, hanging out on the street corners in New York and bumped into the brother, and he just enlightened brothers like, yo, y'all know y'all gods, right? Like, what you talking about? Because me,
Mm-hmm.
I went to private school. I went to a 7 day Adventist school because my family is 7 day Adventist. So I know all about the Bible, but I was talking Bible talk, and he came like, yo, you know y'all God. And once I started building with the brother, it just touched me so much. Like what he's saying is real. Like this is real
Mm-hmm.
information. This is some real lessons. And ever since then, I got that back when I was 14. I
Mm-hmm.
got that at a young age. So it's something that you could definitely bump into, but because there ain't gonna be too many people that look for this. When you hear somebody say that they God, they're like, "What you talking about? Do a magic trick or something crazy, something crazy,
Right. Yeah, people get
something,
weird.
something crazy." But it's more than that. You know what I'm saying? Being God is more than that. It's a way of
Well,
life.
and also that's a childish question too. Like do a magic trick. So that tell you right there that that person is just not ready yet.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Nah, but I feel it's something that you'd have to look for if you really try and find out who you are. Because I always hear people say that we were stripped of our culture. So what is your
Mm-hmm.
culture then? What culture are you living if you were stripped by your culture? Go out there and go find it. And I
Right.
found it. We are original people. We are the original people.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about where a person could go if they wanted to do research, because there are schools set up specifically. Now, and then first of all, do you guys, are you a member, or are you a believer, or what is the denonym?
Well, it's not believing, it's knowing. That's the first thing.
Okay,
That's
so
the
do you
first
call
thing. That's
it
the
like
first thing. That's the
how do
first thing you
you
got to take out of there is believing. Like we don't believe, we know what we are. But
okay.
now they have a school, the school of Mecca. They have a school of Mecca in Harlem, New York. They got the school. That's where the founder he opened that school with the help of New York City. Because back in the day, they actually thought we was a gang. Like
Mm,
they looked at the 5% as a gang because it came right out of that movement of the Black Power movement and civil rights movement. All that was going on when it was created. So
mm-hmm,
in New York City is basically where it was founded, really, where brothers was getting enlightened, and it was a major movement out there that they had to make some changes. They had to make some
mm-hmm.
changes out there because the brothers out there was definitely. Because when you listen to early hip hop, when you listen to early New York hip hop during the birth, if you listen to a lot of lyrics them brothers were saying, a lot of those brothers was 5%ers.
One particularly, Nas, right? So
Yeah.
do you know if he is a 5%er?
Oh yes, Nas is a 5%. I met him at the
All
school.
right.
I met
Okay,
him
you
at
know
the
what?
school.
So, like, here's the thing. I find myself gravitating towards people who believe and speak in this manner, and this is probably why, you know. So I know you
Absolutely.
were saying like you're happy somebody took interest, but I mean, I can't not. I have to know things. When I hear things, I have to know. I'm very inquisitive. So I've been hearing certain things when you guys speak. I hear certain things that I remember, and it does come from certain East Coast rappers that I had an affinity towards, you know.
Oh yeah, most of them, damn near 90% of them during that era back then, late 80s, late 80s going into the 90s, all those brothers was 5%ers. All of them used to go
Mm.
to the school and we used to build at the school.
And if you look at the attitude, like, they're usually much more calmer. There's not a whole lot that you don't see a whole lot of rah-rah out of those type people. The people that I've heard that I can assume are 5%ers.
Yeah, because we sit back and we call it doing the knowledge. We just sit back and we analyze the situation. And that's why we try and tell a lot of brothers this. Well, there's one quote I always tell brothers: be swift and changeable, but always remainable. And what that
Mm,
means is know wherever you at, analyze wherever you at. That's being swift. The changeable part is understand that wherever you at, if you need to change up, you could change up and basically mingle with whatever the situation is that you're dealing with, but always be you. That's the remainable part.
mm-hmm.
So be swift and changeable, but always remain, but always stay yourself. But know how to switch up if you need to switch up. And that's
Right,
what happens.
and understanding that it's still you are going down a different path. Like it doesn't, I don't understand why people think that if you ever change your mind or you do something different, that like a part of you has to die. That is just, being raised Christian and still practicing Christianity as an adult. That is one of the things that I've always had questions about. Is why does a part of you have to die at so many different periods of your life? Like, what is that? Why can't it be all encompassing? So that's one thing that I think makes people fall,
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
fact that they're not combining all of those into the same person. They're separating themselves, and it's ridiculous.
And that's what religion does to you because it has you believing in something else instead of believing in yourself.
Hmm. Okay.
That's what
So
it does.
So let me ask you this, right? Before we open up the panel, the first thing I wanted to ask you was give us a glimpse into the experience. So in your day-to-day life, what is it like? What does it feel like? What are some of the things that catch your attention? How has the nation of gods and earths improved your life?
Well, what it does, it makes me see things through my physical. but I analyze things. When I say see things through my physical, I mean see things through my physical eyes, but I
Mm-hmm.
analyze life through my third eye. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with in life is like I'm reading between the lines. I never take anything at face value. All information is good information, even if it's bad information.
Mm-hmm.
And I use this. I don't see myself higher than anyone, even though I might be, but I don't see myself. I don't put myself in that. I put myself in their shoes. It makes me analyze people differently when I deal with people. It makes
Yeah.
me analyze them differently. It's like I put myself in your shoes because I've been through a lot of different phases in life. That's what it made me do. It made me analyze all type of things around me. Everything around me, I analyze it to the fullest. I put myself in other people's shoes so I don't look at you crazy. I know what it is to be effed up in life. I know what it
Mm-hmm.
is. I know what it is to have money.
Well, and let me say this real quick too, Kane, to build on that sentence you said, because I think that's very important for people to hear, right? Yeah, no, it is. It's different levels. So, as a religious person, right, that's what I consider myself. I recognize that there are certain parts of the religion that I just don't do, that I feel no need to utilize. I disagree with it, and so I'm not going to do it, right? If there's a
Mhm,
judgment at the end of all of this, I'm going to explain it, and God know my heart, right? That's the Christian thing you're supposed to say. So anyway,
mhm.
the things that stood out to me that I didn't want to do was separating yourself so much, like not you're not breaking yourself into pieces like I talked about a few minutes ago, but separating yourself from other people. I feel like you can't say that you care about God's creation if you're just going to throw it away and act like it's not another human being that has a soul and emotions just like you. So when something bad happens to somebody in Christianity, you're supposed to blame them and say it's something that they did and you have to get away from them because it comforts you to makes you feel like it will never happen to you, even though that's inaccurate. That's not true. Because when I look around into the world, that doesn't line up with what I see in reality. So I haven't let religion take me out of being grounded in reality. So the certain tenets that I don't follow are the ones that I feel like, people start getting, a little delusional behind. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So hearing you say that, hearing you describe that as part of your belief, well, your knowledge, right? Um, that is, I think, what was the missing component for me in religion. I had already resolved that I'm only going to do 85% of the religion because the other 15, when I'm supposed to blame victims, no, I don't think that that's what we're supposed to do. I disagree. And this is the way I'm going to practice it. So
yeah.
hearing y'all say that, I think that's important for people to understand. It's a better life experience if you stop trying to say that something bad happened to that person. If I make sure that I blame them for it, it means it can't happen to me. That does not happen. You understand that person's point of view, try to figure out what would have led such a person to make such a decision. You understand them more, and if you truly care about a better outcome, if once you understand them more, you'll be able to explain it in a way that they can handle it. You have now just done something good for the universe, and I feel like that is something that should be a good thing.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. But yeah, that's the way I pretty much live my life on a day-to-day basis. I just analyze everything through my third eye,
Hmm.
you know? But yeah, you can open the panel. You can have some people come up
Okay.
here and chop it up with us, you know? You can have some
All
people
right,
come
I'm
up
gonna
here
go
and
ahead
chop
and
it up
drop
with
the
us.
link in here. Now, listen, guys, respectful questions. And you know what? I gotta say, my channel, my chat box, I don't really get a whole lot of people coming up here doing the most. For the most part, everybody over here act like they got some sense. So I like that my panel is safe for people.
There
So
you
you
go.
guys come up, ask any kind of questions. Now, while they're making their decision, what should people know if you're interacting with a person who is nation of gods and earths? What should people know before they approach you when they're interacting with you? What are the expectations? What should be in their mind so that they can handle it, so to speak?
That I'm expecting to hear something crazy come out your mouth.
So when you talk to other people, you expect something crazy, like that's the thing.
I expect it. Like
Okay.
I expect it. I expect because I know the way my mind works. I know the way my
Uh,
mind moves. I see myself what I like I said, I get what society teaches us. Society
Mm-hmm.
teaches us is a mean thing to get away from. It's a hard thing to fight against what society is teaching the people. That's a hard thing to get away. So I understand that I'm talking to 85ers
Right.
when I talk to people. For the most part, the majority of people I'm gonna bump into is 85ers. And the ones that know what the truth is, the 10%, they don't want no parts of me because they
Right.
don't know, they already know. I'm not with the shits. Like, get away from me with that nonsense. With 85, I understand they're gonna come at me, and a lot of this stuff is gonna be religion based. And
Mm-hmm.
with religion based, it's all about a feeling. With 5% is about knowing. That's why
Mm-hmm.
the first step is knowledge. We're not gonna speak on nothing really like that unless we know.
Well,
It's
yeah,
all
and
about
then so in terms of religion, you're called a believer because you have to have faith and hope. These are all things where
Mhm.
a part of the information is going to be hidden from you, and you're told to be a child in the presence of God. You know, so like there, you have to be in religion, especially Christian. You have to understand that there's going to be a part of the knowledge that's hidden from you, and that's the part that I've never been able to reconcile. I want to know.
Yeah, yeah. And for those that, I remember, you asked me a question about like where can people go, like the major places could be the major places where you will find a lot of 5%ers is like New Jersey, which we call New Jerusalem,
Yes,
Detroit.
that's another thing. Y'all have renamed the specific places. So
Yeah,
I did. I
yeah,
told you I looked it up.
definitely Detroit we call D Mecca.
Hmm.
Chicago is C Medina. Connecticut, New Heaven.
Hmm.
St. Louis we call Saudi. Seattle is Morocco. New Rochelle, Nauru, Dallas, Sudan, Baltimore, Born Mecca, Atlanta, Allah's Garden, Milwaukee, Cream City. And then when you get to the five boroughs, the five boroughs, well, we know we left off two because uh, Staten Island and yeah, that's a New York thing. But Harlem is Mecca, Brooklyn is Medina, and Queens is the desert. So those are like the major locations where a lot of gods spread out to. But we're pretty much all over the place right now. We're all over the
Is
place
it
teaching.
is it a coincidence with these names that they're like Middle Eastern and African country names?
Yeah, because it bases back, like I said, Asiatic,
Okay.
where everything was at one point. And then a lot of those, Muslim countries and African countries, it's all based on black at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Black is the
Hmm.
foundation.
Okay, let me ask you this. So, is this something that is specifically for our people? So, other races are not going to be counted.
Uh it's supposed to originally, yes.
Okay.
Originally, no. The lessons is for us. These lessons I'm teaching, these lessons are for black people. But life evolves, and a lot of these other races and other creeds and all that was created from us, and it was created by us. Like, so we had some of our folks that they were scientists and they wanted to create something other than they wanted to create something new that they could control.
Hmm.
And this is where a lot of the mixing comes into play. That's part of a whole nother story.
Okay.
That goes into someone that they call Yakub. There's a story that goes along with that. They call him Yakub, and it breaks that story breaks down where we are right now, why we are, and what we're going through right now.
So, new, why don't you hit the link, right? Because so what's happening in 30 to 50 years?
Yeah, let New come up here and speak on it. New pop up, man. That's my guy right there too. New,
Yeah,
he's
no.
the
When I was on the panel with y'all,
guy.
that's where I got the idea from when I was on your channel that day, and
Uh,
you and New were speaking. So I was just curious. I thought
yeah,
that lots of people should know this. This is information that I think will help Black people, because there is an air of us feeling having self-esteem, is what I'm hearing from the teachings.
yeah, definitely.
George
That's
making, yeah.
major. That's definitely a major part of it because
And see, there are
it
things that
all
were in
teach you
my belief
knowledge of self.
system.
Because the key is knowledge of self. That's the main key to
Right.
this whole thing. All these lessons, everything I'm talking about is all about knowledge of self. That's the
You
key.
know, if more black people followed, the nation of the gods and earth, I do think that we would be more active in our life experience. We wouldn't be passively marching and waiting and hoping for things as much. And then
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot of my belief system, the things that I took out of religion as it was taught to me and I replaced it with, it does have a lot to do with me being more in charge, me being much more awake and aware. And so I do believe that civilizing the uncivilized is necessary. It's a thing that is all our duty. I was once told, like, it's not my job to teach a grown person something. And I just kind of feel like, well, technically you're right, but you're also wrong. It's not just my job. It's all our job. If you know,
Hmm.
you're supposed. So let me ask you. So what is the viewpoint towards the 10% who know and hide the knowledge?
Well, the 10%, we usually look at them as those are the ones that's the power that has the power right now. And
Yeah.
like that goes back to what I was saying earlier when I was talking about our creation. We created that. We created
Mm-hmm.
that and then gave them that power. And they abused that power. They
Yeah.
abused that power badly. But they know who the true and living is, and it doesn't benefit them for us to get back to our culture. It doesn't benefit them. And basically, 10% is basically like, I know with YouTube it's kind of funny saying certain things, but
Mm.
Masons and the upper class, those are usually the 10% because they know what
Okay.
the truth is. They know what the truth is, but they feed the 85, the 85ers lies to keep them on the bottom. And then the 5% is dangerous to them. It's,
So let me ask this. So a person who is not a part of the nation, could they be considered a 5%er but not actively practicing? Meaning like they live their life, they're doing these same principles, but they don't know the names and stuff to it. Or is that part of it? You have to come over and study and learn the knowledge and supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet for you to be considered a 5%er. Like could you talk to somebody and they're on a higher frequency and then you could say, oh, okay, this person is in the know.
well, I would say yes, because it's like in certain spaces, I don't be really shouting out spaces like that, but in certain spaces, you have brothers that talk about something they call the black pill. The
Mm-hmm.
black pill is what I would say is the closest thing to actually being a 5%er, a God body. Is the
Mm-hmm.
closest thing because you have that understanding on what the life that you live in. You understand that is some bullshit, especially
Mm-hmm.
what's going on in the world. We understand that everything around us is not really what it is or what it's supposed to be, or we
Mm.
understand that what's going on is some bullshit, and you play outside of the realms of that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because there's a little frustration I get. I commonly have these moods where I'm like, okay, so don't nobody else see this? Y'all like, okay, so we not gonna mention. We're just gonna pretend, So I do feel afflicted with that from time to time when I'm dealing with main society, which is why I don't do crowds well. Because there's always going to be that person that fights for their right to remain blissfully ignorant.
Hmm.
And I just can't have that around me. You could be somebody else's friend. I just can't do it.
Yeah, because the powers that be got them feeling comfortable with it. The powers that
Yeah.
be got them feeling comfortable with it. When you really understand it and see it, for you not to move like that, that makes you the oddball.
Yeah. Exactly.
For you not to move the way they move, it makes you the oddball to society.
Yeah.
This is
And
why we
it's
lost. This is why we lost all our leaders back in the day, and
exactly.
they made sure to do it the way they did it, so we would never have another one. When was the last month? Where's the last person that stepped up like Malcolm or Martin?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I have a problem with slave movies. I don't watch
Yeah.
them because it keeps you in that mindset. It's like remember. It's like they're telling
Mm-hmm.
you remember.
Like, I can do this to you again. It's kind of like a veiled threat.
Yeah.
And they lie and say that it's educationally based, like we're trying to teach you
No,
about your history, but that ain't got to be part of our history. We don't have to keep now there is the movement of if you don't remember you're doomed to repeat it, but we can know the lesson without having to look at the specific details all of the time. So
and
my
then
issue with those movies is the explicit detail it goes into. Why do they why do they feel like black people are not capable of just understanding the lesson and not having to go to that level of detail, because that is meant to evoke fear.
and then remember what you just said. History, his
Yeah,
story, his
yeah,
story. You listening
their
to his
version.
story. You know what I'm saying? You listening to his
Mm-hmm.
story. So I don't watch those movies no more. And I might give it a one shot. Don't get it twisted. I might give it a one shot. So let me not even cap up here. I might give it a one shot. Like I said, everything is informative to me, even if it's bad information. I'll take it. So if I do see bad information again, I know what to look for. So that's
And you
why I
can know
take,
what the masses have just ingested, so you can know what you're dealing with.
yeah. So you know when you see some bullshit, like, oh, this is some bullshit. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so why do you guys how did the 15% that know, whether they hold it and hide the information or whether they're trying to teach and educate, how did they become enlightened? Is there a overarching theme of how that happened?
Well, they know because the knowledge is there. Like I said, knowledge is infinite. Knowledge has no beginning
So
nor
these are
ending.
people who chose to get informed, and then what they do with it differs. But these are all the thing that those the 15% have in common is that they chose to become informed.
Now, it goes back. It goes back to that story I was telling you about Yakub. It
Mm-hmm.
goes back to that story because, like I said, the people that we're dealing with is our creations, and you
Mm-hmm.
see it right. You see it right now with science. They could make you have whatever baby you want. They could genetically do whatever they do, and this is something that was created. We created this problem. It comes from us, and that's why to this day you see that we have issues amongst ourselves because it was always like that. There was those on a higher level, and then there was those on the lower level. And
Mm-hmm.
the low level always wanted to take over the higher level. And that's where they
Mm-hmm.
create and that's where the creation came to have our problem that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
The creation that's the 10%. The 10% is pretty much our creation. They know the truth
Mm-hmm.
because they know the truth because they came from the truth. But they was created because there was a rebellion against the truth from our own people. And we see it all the time to this day. Our own
So
people
is
fight against us.
so would it be accurate to say that the goal is to educate the other 85%, full well knowing that they could choose to follow the 10% that now wants to hide the truth from other people? Or is the expectation that knowledgeable? Or is that something that is like it's not going to happen because that's not the design?
Well, I would say it's not going to happen for most of them because that's definitely not going to be the desire. They don't
Mm,
desire the truth. Like we see what goes on right now in this day and time. 2021, the lie is better than the truth. That's the
mm-hmm,
way a lot of people live their life right now about a lie. So they kicking butt with the 10% is kicking butt with the 85ers because
mm-hmm.
they got them believing that technology, television. They watch
Okay.
television all day. So but our goal is definitely to teach the 85ers. Our goal is to teach those, and those that want to come will come. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why we call ourselves the 5%ers because we know no matter how much teaching we try to do, it's pretty much only going to be 5% that make it. And that's
Okay. But
why
it's still worth it.
it's still worth it. I'm gonna do it.
Right.
I'm gonna teach my brothers. I'm gonna teach my brothers. If you want to learn, you'll come and you'll chop it up with me. We'll build. If you don't want to learn, you're gonna go do what you do. You're gonna destroy.
Okay, so now listen. My last question, and I was hoping, like, okay, so nobody's gonna click the link. Oh man, come on, see this what y'all. This is exactly what new. Oh, I mean, not new. This is exactly what Kane is talking about right now. Y'all not trying to be, get the knowledge. So my question, right? So it's the nation of the gods and earth. So I was told gods are men and earths are women. Any
Hmm.
particular reason?
Well, women have the womb.
Right, of
and
course.
the earth brings forth life. Life lives on the earth, so that's why we call y'all the earths, because y'all have the womb, and y'all bring forth life. You know, so we shoot the life into y'all, but y'all bring it forth. This is why woman is necessary but secondary. And it's not to sound chauvinistic, because this is what happened back in the 60s. Like they used to call us chauvinists and all that type of stuff, because we always put the women second, but that's just the way it is. Man always comes first. Man, woman,
Well,
child.
it's inherent in the title because God is in fact in, over the earth. And so the earth is there to nurture what God has created. So,
Exactly. It all
I mean,
coincides. It all coincides. That's what I'm saying. It all
right.
coincides when you break it down.
Right. And so I'm gonna go on mute for a second. I want to welcome new to the panel and George Macon to the panel. You guys rock out for 1 second. I'm still in earshot. I can still hear.
Okay, there you go. Peace, brothers. What's going on with y'all?
Peace
New
to the gods. What's going on with you?
George. What's
What's
going
up,
on with you, bro?
Topaz?
What's going on? What's up?
Anything good? What's going on with y'all, brothers?
Yeah, I just had a question. When we
Mhm.
when dealing with the 5%er, because I'm not a 5%er, but I always, long before I even knew what 5%er was, I always had like beliefs that I am the manifestation of the true and living God. Like I didn't really need religion to tell me that. I just looked at like the essence of beyond space and time and where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I read the Bible, it said, "Let's create man in our likeness and our image." So when I seen man or woman, I looked at God having a human experience. So
Absolutely.
when
Religion don't tell you that though.
no, that's what I said. I didn't
Oh,
need
okay.
religion. Yeah, I didn't need religion to tell me that. Like I figured, it's like in my spirit, I figured that out. I kind of feel like I figured that out as a kid in church.
Right.
That's
It's
how I
hidden.
feel. That's how I feel too, George. Because it was in me. So when I heard
Yeah.
it,
Somebody
when I
say
actually heard a brother
Phillies.
actually tell me that, my
I'm
Yeah.
fucking with you.
It's,
but when the brother actually told me that, it was like, wow,
it's something
that
I knew
blew my
already.
mind. That blew my mind because like I already saw myself like that, so it blew my mind to actually hear it. And once I got the lessons, it just opened my mind even wider. Like, wow.
So I guess for me, like, in the 5% in the 5% teachings, I won't say beliefs, but teachings, where like I knew how I viewed the woman, and my understanding. But what is the position of the woman in the five? Is she looked at as the manifestation of God also?
Well, there is brothers that do say that because it goes back to how we break down God, and we break down God as being Allah, arm, leg, arm, supreme head.
Right.
A woman has a arm, leg, and a supreme head. So it's like there is brothers that would call them goddesses
Mhm.
because it's like we're all gods at the end of the day.
Right.
Individually, we're all gods, woman and man. We're all gods. But uh, yeah. You can call them gods too, because like I said, we're all gods. But they have a role once they deal with a male god. There's a role that a woman plays.
Okay.
So
Right. I know. I agree with that. I always felt like we both had roles. Like if I looked at nature, if I just went out into the park or sat by some water and just looked at nature, a woman has two bosoms in the womb. She's a receiver of what we give her, and we both play an integral role in keeping this thing going. So I look at man as the head, but I'm still nothing without her. So there's equality within us, but within the confines of so-called this reality, I do stand in front of her as far as protection and things like that. But I feel like the ultimate creator created this reality for a reason, and we don't exist without her. She don't exist without us. That's the way
yeah,
I view
it's a
it.
partner, it's a partnership. It's a partnership to make it work.
Okay, because I just feel like a lot of these religions, I mean, a lot of these beliefs. I want to get away from the religious aspect. It's kind of like because I'm from Philly, so we got a lot of 5%ers here too.
Yeah.
And but they don't all practice the same thing. And I just feel like in our communities, like I feel like we've alienated part of our communities because we put the woman kind of like in our roles as men, like we almost put the woman in a position of property. and I don't think that we brought her along in a position that she would be with in order to unify the communities.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Because it goes back to like the music thing I was saying earlier with the hip hop thing. Look at the early hip hop artists when it comes to the ladies and the early hip hop artists when it comes to the men. Listen to what the ladies was talking about. Listen to what the men were talking about. We was all talking about the same shit, coming together. How could we come together and build? Because that's what it's supposed to be about. When you come together with with a woman, it's to build. Sun, moon, stars. The sun shines on the moon and the earth, and it shines on the stars.
Sun is a nucleus.
That's you, the black man. You are the sun. The woman is the earth. She has the womb. She brings forth life. Yes, y'all are gods.
Right. I mean, the
Get no
soil.
moonshine without the sunshine.
Yeah, I always looked at her as, for me, as the soil. I'm the seed plant.
Mm,
And she brings forth the life of the seeds that I plant. But
there you go.
I looked at man. We always had to have rules and structure because a wayward man is destructive. Because I can plant seeds all over the place, but if I'm not there to provide sunlight and water for the soil that I plant the seed in, you get what you get today. That's why we out of control. So for me, when I heard the 5% teachings, I was like, damn, I already thought this, just in a different way.
That's what I felt too.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's why it's so real. Oh, damn, Gab, real conversation pulled up.
Yeah,
Salute,
listen.
Gab. I ain't see
So
Gab in forever. That's my bro right there. Damn,
yeah,
Gab.
look, George and Gab, I look up to. I completely respect. These are two of the men on here that I absolutely have nothing but the utmost respect for.
Definitely.
And Kane, it's interesting because that's where I first saw you was in George Macon channel and also in Gab channel.
Yeah, that's my guy right there, Gab. Oh man, peace to the brother, man. Damn,
Yeah,
beat you
I
there.
ain't heard from Gab in a minute.
Hey
Yeah,
George, I remember you from a long time ago, man, from a few years ago.
I've
yeah,
been
I remember
around
true.
for
well,
a
I
while.
remember seeing your name and you be on panels a few times here or there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around. I've been around a while, man. I just think that, like, when I look at the trouble that, because I look at the black, I take the woman out the equation for me, and I believe that the majority of the troubles is on the black man, and because the black man is in trouble, the women suffer. But I look at like our troubles is I think it's just come from us. Like we hard headed, man.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's because the technology got us.
yeah, we hard headed.
Civilization got us, and like I said, we were stripped. Like I hear a lot of y'all brothers say, we were stripped of our culture, and our culture is that we are the original people, and we are God, and we need to be moving accordingly like that. We
Well,
need
let
to
me
be
ask
on
you
that
this
type of
question.
level.
Let me ask you this question. Let me go to the beginning. Like when we talk about the Yakub story, right? And we
Hmm.
talk about man's ego and his creative ability, but his wants to create certain things outside of himself. Because like we watch a man do that now with the computers and trying to emulate so-called
Hmm.
nature with the computer. But I feel like he copied us because we did that some time ago and we created this reality because we wanted to create something. We wanted to emulate ourselves outside of ourselves, and this is where the destruction comes from. Because you can see it
Exactly.
playing out now. And I give you an example. When I was a kid growing up, if your mom said, "What's such and such phone number?" You said SA9. You remember everybody's phone number by heart because you used your
Hmm.
brain. Now you got phones with memory in it. You become an inundated robot and don't even realize it. Like you don't use
Exactly.
nothing to
They
yourself
dumbed you
anymore.
down. They dumbed the people down.
But I feel like it's repeating itself because that's what we did.
Hmm. And
You know,
brief, let me get into the Yakub briefly because I know people hear me say the Yakub thing. Like, what is that? Yakub, basically, the story of Yakub is basically he was a black man and he didn't like. He wanted his own. He wanted to control. He wasn't a leader. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a leader within. He had the wherewithal or the know how to be a leader, but within that group, he didn't get there yet. It was hierarchy, and he wanted that hierarchy that the whoever was in power at that time wanted. So what he decided to do
Dang.
was I'm gonna create my own people that I could control and have them move the way I want them to move. And the way the story goes is that he took all the light skinned black people, the lighter you were, he took you and the rest of them, nah, go about your business. and he made them mate. And every time they had a lighter skin tone child, he took the children. If they were dark skinned, he slit the stomachs and killed them. But he took all the light skinned kids and he continually keep mating them and keep mating. It's like what they do with breeding. And he kept mating them until he got what he wanted. And that's where white people came from to
The
break it all
grafting.
down.
I'm talking
The
about grafting.
grafting. Yeah. He grafted them. And he taught them he taught them what he taught them. And he told them that y'all will rule for 7,000 years. Because he had them moving the way we were moving as a society back then, we were all about uplifting and building, but he brought the destruction into play. And that's what he was all about. And that's what
Could I ask a
created.
question real fast with that? Just 10 seconds.
Yeah, you got
That,
it.
is it saying that the society back then were we at an advanced society back then, and when these people created, we regressed within the society?
Yeah, we were advanced. We were very advanced. We were very advanced. But like I said, with his low level, because he was intelligent. You got to remember, if you think about a dude that looking to create something, he didn't get to live to see it. He didn't live to see it. He died before they actually worked it out. But he created something that he wanted to go against what his people was doing at that time, and we was at a higher level, and he brought madness into the situation, and that's where we at right now.
Because I watch cartoons, man, and I be really like paying attention because I always felt my dad always used to tell me that the devil don't tell no lies. Like they used to say the devil's a liar, and my dad used to be like, "No, it's not. He tells the truth. It's just your job to decipher and pay attention to what he's saying." Like he puts everything in front of your face. He
Yeah,
has a deceptor, but he doesn't lie. He puts it right there in front of you. It's your job to know that he exists. And I watch a lot of these cartoons, and I be feeling like they depict us in our story of ancient times, but we just don't know what we watching.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I asked that question, right, is because a lot of the people that I talk to that are from the five percenters is usually men. I haven't met a whole lot of women who live by the 5% nation teachings.
it's
Hey,
hard.
I just haven't
Topaz,
run
real quick.
across them.
Hey, Topaz,
Hmm?
real quick. I'm gonna come in on my computer and get off my phone.
Okay. I'm gonna
All
put
right.
it back in the chat.
All right.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like
It's
I just
hard to
haven't come
find them.
across them.
It's
Hmm?
hard to find them because the 10% teachings is so strong. It's hard to find them. It's hard to find. They're still out there because when you go, like I said, when you go to the school of Mecca in Harlem, you'll see some sisters that pull up, but it's not a lot of them. You're absolutely right. It's not a lot of them. It's hard. It's hard to find a woman that take on these teachings because a lot of times it comes from the man teaching his woman
Thank you.
these teachings, and
Well, my
it's hard for
mentor
them to take
told
that.
my mentor told me when I was in prison, you're not going to see the women come out until you have the unification of men. When the unification of men come out, we start waking up and really start waking up into the teachings. What our women are going to get on board.
Yeah,
He explained this to me 20 years ago in jail because I asked the same question so fast, and he was like, "Women acquiesce to who's in power. When we wake up as men." To realize what it is that we're supposed to be doing. A lot of our women by nature are going to get right,
yeah,
but
absolutely,
we're out of order. She's out of order.
absolutely. Because like
And
I
I will
said,
say, George, on your channel, you do seem to be doing a lot of teaching. You are one of the people that I feel like is trying to wake up Black people. So, hopefully it's helpful.
yeah, because with the 5%ers, we're not anti-white, we're not pro-black, we pro-God. We pro-God. It's not about being pro-black, none of that. Because they have 5%ers that's actually white. Because like I said, they're birthed from us. They come from us. So they're still born. Like I said, we're all born gods. It's not no separation thing. This is where equality. This is why number 6 is equality. It's not a separation thing. It's all about knowing the truth.
Okay. Well, no, I just asked because, I was just one of the questions that I always ask people is like, if a person wants to now change their ways and they want to start, following and learning, what can a woman expect? Like, what's the role for women for you guys? You've already talked to us about them being the earths and her being secondary but necessary. So, like, what kind of qualities do you look for in women who could be a part of it?
1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna answer that, but give me 1 second.
Okay. No, I don't think that's vegan. Is that red stripe?
This is vegan, man.
I don't know. Are you sure?
My bad, y'all. My bad.
No,
Yeah.
we here.
But yeah, for a woman's job basically for us is she produces the kids. We teach her the knowledge of self. We teach her knowledge of self, and pretty much the knowledge that we teach her by her by her we call because basically we call our women wisdoms. So by me being the knowledge and she being my wisdom, whatever I'm teaching her, that's gonna be my ways and actions being showed through her because she's gonna be moving just like me. It's like we have a respect level. We have a respect level. We building together. It's a together thing. We're building together to teach the understanding. The understanding is the children. So if we building together, the understanding that we give in the world, you're gonna see it through our kids because our kids is the understanding.
We
We
doing
have
that
a
now. I'm sorry, we're doing that right now. She behaving the way she behaves because that's what we taught her. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
And I like that because, see, in psychology, like the wise mind to have wisdom is to know when is appropriate to use logic and when it's appropriate to use emotion and in what ratio. So that's what a wise mind is, from my field. And so to call women that and women are better with emotions, that these things just kind of all line up with a lot of things that I already see in reality.
Our
I
women,
guess the point is people just don't pay attention. They see it, but then they dismiss it. They don't use the information for anything.
too
yeah.
fast. Our women call themselves savages today because the white man called us names and we embraced it.
Mm,
And that's what they meant.
mm.
When the brother talked about us teaching, and it's basically her being a better version. Our thing is our women are out of control because that's what we taught them, and that's why I'm saying our women are not going to get back in line until we get in line.
Exactly.
And to me, that's power. That's strength. So I don't understand why some men feel like, well, a woman's actions aren't my responsibility. I had nothing to do with that. For me, I don't think that I'm blaming men for the ills of society in terms of female behaviors. If I say that, well, you're the one that's in charge, you're the one that is supposed to get this together. I think that comes from power and strength. That's not me saying that you did it. You didn't tell her to behave that way, but she's only doing it because she can get away with it. If she knew that that wasn't going to fly around you, if there would be no, and I'm not talking even about punishing, right? How about ignoring? The loudest women get the most attention. They're doing all of this kind of stuff because it's still some type of attention. They still get something out of it. So to me, I don't think that that's blaming men. I feel like that's me recognizing the positions. So what do y'all think about that?
Now with the blaming men thing, I could see where that come from. And like I said, because I'm a 5%er. So I'm looking at when I look at everybody else, I'm looking at them like I'm looking in your window. It's like I'm creeping my ass, I'm looking in your window, I'm looking at the bullshit that's going on. There's a lot of dudes that's deaf, dumb, and blind to the truth, and that's what we're dealing with. So you would have to put it on men because men make the changes. Men is supposed to be the one that control things. So you have to blame it on the men because there's a lot of men that don't know the truth. They deaf, dumb, and blind to the truth. So it has to go back on the men. But that the reason that's happening is because of the 10%. The
And you
ten
got
percent they living by the standards of what the 10% is teaching them.
and you got to remember that the enemy is crafty.
Yeah,
He's very
Mm-hmm.
crafty. So he destroyed generations of our men that don't own that don't operate from their control, their minds. So a single mom, I always teach until, as you know, I teach on my channel. Single mom is warfare on the black community. And what happens is when you have generations of single moms raising the children, these boys are not being raised by men to understand what manhood is. That's the aspect of war.
Yeah,
That's the aspect of war in
you
itself.
got wisdoms showing understanding. You're missing
Right.
something though. You're missing
Yeah,
that
you missing
knowledge.
something.
You're
So
missing
how
that knowledge.
right. So how can he raise up
Hmm.
to even protect, to be your protector? Like, but that's the aspect of warfare that they actually created so that they don't have to fight a war. We'll fight amongst each other. And that's all part of waking up and understanding what this warfare is about, because we keep thinking warfare is guns, bombs, bullets, and everything else. No, it's psychological. It's in your head. And every time, when you look around, you see single moms and these women with all these children by themselves with no man there to provide sunlight and water. Something wrong. Like how can the community ever wake up from something like that when we know that wasn't the design in the first place? They got us out of order.
And the 10% notice.
Yeah.
And right now, the 10% know that they got us on cruise control. They got us on cruise control when it comes to the bullshit. They know they don't gotta do nothing already. They done did what they had to do. They did what they had to do to have you thrown off. And a lot of brothers is thrown off.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this to brothers too. Listen, women by nature, they're gonna they're waiting by nature. They're expecting us to produce and provide them with something. They're receivers of what we give them, so they're going to blame you. That's going to happen. They're
Yeah,
going to blame you until you figure it out, because that's her nature. Her job is not to get up here and fight the war. It's your job. She's a receiver. You go
yeah.
into your woman. She
But
don't
that's the
go into
thing.
you.
That's the thing. The brothers have to figure it out. The brothers have to figure it out amongst themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
The
So
brothers
you're
have to
going to
figure it
get
out amongst
blamed.
themselves.
Yep. And our job is to not. I learned this. I learned this by being married for a long time. I've learned this. When my wife is crying and bitching and moaning about certain things, I used to get upset. And my wisdom and as I get older, I don't. I just try to figure out ways to fix the problem. That's what I've learned to do.
I can't put all the onus on the man. That's where I
Nah,
get
No,
pushback. I
we're
but
not
can't.
nah,
though.
but the only thing is that I'm not pushing it
I
all on the man.
understand. Well, a lot of guys do
Nah,
though,
good. No,
man.
my bad.
No,
No,
I'm just
go
No.
saying.
ahead. You got it.
A lot of guys do,
Mhm.
and cats don't realize like the choices that other people made that kind of make them like this.
Of
They
course.
get they get taught from generation to generation to generation that it's all our fault. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do this and we didn't do that. And I just can't go with the whole onus on the man type shit, because you know what I'm saying, you responsible what's underneath you. Whatever you take into your wing, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? So if you gonna follow dumb shit, then those guys gotta take that responsibility. I mean, people make choices.
Let me
Mm-hmm.
respond to that though. I agree with everything that you say, and anybody know my content, I talk about this. But the thing is this, man, when we're dealing with men, because we're being attacked by a group of competing men. There's groups of competing men behind the scenes that keep the system the way it is. It's not women,
Mm-hmm.
it's men. And what I'm saying is our women is a byproduct of the warfare. And as men, it's our job to figure out the way we're being attacked and fix the problem. I get it. I know I speak to a lot of things that a woman does, but that's all part of the scheme within the problem. The overall problem, when we as men, we say, well, wait a minute, who just punched me in my face? Not who pushed me. Now who just punched me in my face? And we know who punching us in the face. And I gotta stop this nigga from punching me in my face. And when I do that, all the other problems will begin to fix itself. That's all I'm saying. I know it's not all our fault, but at the end of the day, as men, it's our responsibility, because the men of every communities around the world are the builders. They are the builders,
Who's
and
punching you
they're
in
the
the
first.
face,
They're
Doc?
the front line.
Who's punching you in the face?
Who's punching us in the face? Who's been punching us in the face? I don't think that's the question that we got to ask, bro. I mean, respectfully, we know who punching us in the face, and it's
I can
our job.
only
It's
I can
our
only
job
punch I
now.
can only punch myself in the face. That's what I'm talking about,
Then,
because I
at
control
this
my own
point,
shit.
but this what I'm saying. At this point, within the conversation, if that's the way you view it, then I mean, I just let you have that. I mean, I'm not going to debate that.
Well, and I get the sense that it would be competing groups of men
Yeah,
because that's the only people that it would matter.
when I say I blame it on the men, I'm not blaming it on all black men. because I know there's brothers that got knowledge of self, and the
Right.
main men that we're going against is the 10% men, the men that know what it is, but they playing the game. They playing the game where they trying to fool our people or do whatever they doing. But for the brothers that's not enlightened, I blame them because they're not enlightened, and the knowledge is out there for them to get, and they uplift that nonsense that goes on. So I
I
blame them
mean,
on that nonsense.
yeah.
Because
Kane knows me, so he knows that I don't really do like I don't blame one gender on everything because I'm not biased in that way, and I do believe that people are responsible for their own actions, and that's the only reason why I won't blame one gender for saying, "Oh, they threw us under the bus, they did this, they did that." You know what I'm saying? I don't live my life by permanent crutches, man. I ain't never
yeah,
been that way. My whole 46 years on this planet, I ain't never been that way.
Well, I say this.
and me speaking, hold on, John, real
That's
quick.
the
And me
only
speaking,
pushback, and that's why I gave it.
and me speaking the way I'm speaking right now is because, like I said earlier in the interviews, when I was like, I could put myself in other people's shoes. The way me speaking like that is not me saying is me. That's the swift and changeable, always remainable. It's me putting myself in those people that think like that shoes and having understanding where they coming from. Because I didn't always have knowledge of self. I was
Mm-hmm.
that dude that was out there doing all type of shit. And even when I got knowledge of self, I still did whatever I want to do because that's all what it's all based on. You live your, like Nu was saying, you live your life the way you want to live it. You can't blame nobody. So I really don't do the blame thing. That's just me being part of society. Because the way I live my life on a day-to-day basis, it's like I'm floating on. It's like I'm floating on the cloud.
Right.
I don't care what goes on in society, but because I am part of society, I'm here. I can't act like I'm not here. So I see things, and it's all part of knowledge. Like I said, it's all part of knowledge. I take in good knowledge and I take in bad knowledge. I could play both
Because
And
sides. I know what it is. I
and
know.
I do want to take a second to welcome Viking Paradigm to the panel.
Peace. What's going on with you?
Viking was in the chat talking to us about war and why we're going through the dysfunction that we have right now and its design. So he offered to come up and speak a little bit on what he meant.
Hey,
Let me hear
real
what you
quick,
gotta
real
say.
fast before I jump off, though, I just want to respond to the brother because I got to jump off real fast.
Okay.
Real fast. I just want to tell the brother, listen, when we done in our minds outside of the matrix, I would agree with you. You know, we manifest the reality that we want. We create these things. We understand power and we understand the illusion. But within this reality that the majority of people live in, this thing is own, operated, and controlled, and you don't make your own decisions. Your decisions is made for you. People think that they make their own decisions, but this thing is already packaged, well organized. When you begin to see yourself outside of the reality and you get back to your own dreams and your own manifestations, I would agree. But that's not the way that our people is operating. That's why we teach. That's why you have a
Facts.
5% belief. So like we can't get up here and just like if you're just speaking as the individual, then that's fine. But I don't. But what I'm saying is when we're teaching in the context of the conversation, we're talking about the masses of our people, and the masses of our people is caught in this matrix, and they do not think for themselves. I call it the Freddy Krueger effect. They've lost
Mm,
their ability to dream, and when they do dream, Freddy is there to kill them. So they
mm.
die in this physical world. So
Nice.
what most of us learn. I've been talking about the Freddy Krueger effect. People watched that movie and was entertained, but they missed the fucking message of the movie. They
Mm-hmm.
missed the message.
Damn.
You can't
I like
dream
that one. I
because
like
you
that
live
one.
vicariously through this world. So now, when you do wake up and understand who you are, and like I said, understand that I am God having a human experience, and this is an illusion. Then it won't pertain to you, but you're still not void of emotions and things within this reality as long as you're in this body.
Yeah,
So,
that's
so
part
I
of it.
mean, so that's all I'm saying to you. But,
Nah, I think what you just said, bro. You just broke it down to fish. I like the way you broke that down. I like that. That was cool.
and my wife laughing, she in the car.
That was cool.
Hey, Miss Macon.
Yeah. My bro
Yeah,
knew was a different type. My bro knew was a different type of character though, man.
I'm different, man.
And this is what I'm saying. And this is why
That's just the way I've always been.
it's levels to this God
I,
thing. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree.
To
No,
this God thing
I'm
is
with him as
different
the
levels.
individual. Yeah, I'm
Is
with you as the individual though, because I'm not going to disagree with that. Like I see myself outside of this matrix because I'm out of the Freddy Krueger effect, but the masses of our people are still in it. That's all I'm
nah,
saying.
but George, the main thing is that you are individual. It always starts as an individual. It always starts with self. That's why it's called knowledge of self. You have to know yourself first. And then when you go out there, you deal with people that have knowledge of self accordingly to the way your knowledge of self is. And that's how you build. And that's how you build. So you know what I'm saying? It starts with you. And then you go out there and find a group that's gonna build with you.
Agreed. I agree.
That's
Look,
how that works.
I've always seen it like everybody walks around with the shit sandwich, right? But just how much shit can your bread maintain? You know what I'm saying? I don't want that much shit. So I just take responsibility for myself, and those who want help, you got to speak up. If I see somebody that needs help, I might ask them. If they say I don't need help, then it is what it is.
Keep
You
on
know what I'm saying?
moving.
I just keep it shaking. You know what I'm saying? Because what I allow in my cipher, that means that now I'm taking control. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So the thing is, some people don't want it, some people do. I just let people live the way they want to live. I mean, don't get me wrong, though, George. I understand what you're saying as far as like a collective part, but that collective does start with individuals.
And that goes
That's
back
all I
and
was
that
saying.
goes and that
Right,
goes
I agree.
that goes back to like the way the Bible formates it to people. It's like you live the way you want to live, and at the end, if you live right, you'll make it to the next level. That's basically what they're telling you. And that's basically what it is in life. You live the way you live. I let everybody live the way they want to live. You do what you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't make my world turn. That's the way I look at people. If it doesn't make my world turn, my world's gonna continuously keep going. I stay taking steps forward. I never want to stay stagnated, and I never want to take steps backwards. I'm always looking to go forward. So whatever goes on in your life is what you like, and this is what makes you. This is what makes you God. You do whatever you want to do in your life. You have total control. Yes, there's laws of the land. You might have to move around a little different, the laws of the land, but at the end of the day, it's all about you and those that want to build with you.
When
That's the zigzag zig.
when do we come into our God state, like our higher self, though? Because and I'm asking that because I know I know what my lifestyle was 20 years ago. Yeah, and then with my lifestyle, what my thought process is now, where I can hear God, I can look at myself and I see a different version of myself. When do we come into the aspect of being God, though?
Is when you stop living by what when you stop living by the way society wants you to live,
Okay,
and you take control of your life.
right.
That's when you
Yeah.
That's
come
what I
into
get.
your God state. When you take control of your life and understand that you have complete control of your life, and anything that happens in your life is on you. And you don't look to nobody to blame nobody for that. Whatever you do in life is all about you. And that's when you understand. That's where you start getting that understanding like, yo, hold on.
Hello, how's everyone
Until
doing
somebody
today?
tell you that I'm on God level.
Right, and
Like
that's
I'm
when we
starting
said
to get to
that.
God level.
When you cannot think about the spook Bible God,
Right,
that's when you become it. To be honest with you, I
and
mean,
Yeah, that too.
is that when we
That's
you can do
major
separate?
too.
everything that being can, that triple O being can do,
Is
just
that when
on
we
the physical plane.
is that when we begin to be separated from the sheep or the masters, where we be able to teach them something different when we
Yes.
know who we are? Right, and that's
Yes.
Sure.
all. Okay, got you, got you.
And
Yes.
and in psychology, we call it self-actualization, where you can actualize the things you desire and work on and work according to your capabilities, and your interests, things like that. And so it's a journey, it's a process. It's uncomfortable at first because that's not the default for society, because it benefits those in charge, is for you to have an external locus of control, meaning you believe things that happen to you, you believe things that are out somebody else's control and stuff instead of yourself. The internal locus of control is where you become able to recognize and identify the desires of your heart, and then you are able to put things in place using your capabilities to get there. So you have the self-awareness. So a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff is, in my field. And that's why I know I was meant to do what I do. And I want to welcome Nathan also to the panel. And then I want to let Viking Paradigm get a
Yeah, I
chance
want to hear what you.
to
I want to
get
hear what you
in.
I
say.
have a
Yeah.
question to ask.
Hold on, wait,
Okay.
real quick, Manette. Let me hear what Viking Privilege is saying because he's been up here for a minute. Let me hear what
I've
you got to
seen
say.
him
If he's got
somewhere
a if he's
before.
got a quick question, then go ahead, because this will take a little while because I got to go over some history of warfare in order for you guys to really understand. Some of this comes from my guy Hotep Jesus, and it also comes from the guy I mentioned in chat, the KGB defector Yuri Bezmenov.
Okay.
Okay. So Nathan, go ahead with the question.
What we are talking about, I want to hear your opinion on that statement. I want to hear it.
We're discussing the knowledge gained from a member of the Nation of the Gods and Earths.
Okay. Continue.
Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, go ahead. So right now we have gotten to the point where we're talking about the dysfunction in our community and what we need to do about that. And so Viking came up to talk to us a little bit about warfare and how this relates to where we are and what's happening.
The warfare, like, what do you mean by warfare? Like the war
I'll
in general, the
elaborate.
war in general, or just like
I didn't
For
hear his
anybody that
question
doesn't
yet.
know,
I didn't hear his question yet, so I don't know what
He
he's talking
said,
about yet.
"What about
No,
warfare?"
I know what he said, but I'm saying I didn't hear anything from Viking yet, so I don't even know where we going yet.
No, he was talking in the chat, and so he offered to come up and
Okay,
elaborate.
okay. Let me hear what Viking talking about. I wasn't watching the chat, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see
where
what
we
he was
going.
talking about either.
Let's go,
right,
Viking.
so-
Let me hear what you got to say.
So you guys were talking about the kind of what's fucking up the black community. Well, this started my guy Hotep Jesus. If you guys are not familiar with him, go check him out. He was on a podcast with one of my friends one time, and he was talking about this book that was published in the 1700s about how to properly keep your black slaves. Right now, this is people aren't going to want me talking about this. I know this is going to be uncomfortable, especially since I'm the token white guy right now.
You good?
But
Yeah, look, this channel is about knowledge, so some truths are going to be uncomfortable, but we need to get them out there.
Yeah. So what this book described is the methodology for how the white slave owner back then could basically guarantee that his slaves would stay his slaves for 200 years easily. The method is you take the strongest men among the group, you draw and quarter them in front of everybody. And you get all the slaves together and you make them watch. You draw and quarter every alpha male in the group. And if you know about conquering history, what did they always used to do? They used to kill all the men and take all the childbearing women and reproducing that.
Yeah.
Well,
Some
how
of
do
those
you
went.
get to conquer them while keeping them enslaved without having to kill all the men? Well, you get rid of all the strong ones and emasculate them completely and totally in front of everybody. And then you beat the living shit out of the other slaves. That was the methodology described in the book. Once again, I'm not advocating for this. This is monstrous.
Nah, I feel what you're saying.
You
I feel what you're
absolutely,
saying.
you
Yeah, but
absolutely
that's
obliterate
Willie
them.
Lynch, though.
And
That's the Willie Lynch thing.
here's what subverts the population is you put all those emasculated males under the females, and the females are in charge. The reason this works is that the females will keep the weak men from acting out of line under the possibility that the children may be hurt. So she will keep him in line because he's weak. He won't step up to her. And this keeps the community in line. This is what set y'all up for this, the Democratic Party enacting welfare. Welfare is that book 2.0 in the modern age. That's literally what happened. That's why you have all these single mothers out here, and it's enabled by the state because this can persist, this state of subversion. Now, the black folks are getting double teamed on the other side of this. There's another thing going on, which is World War III. People don't know World War III is going on. I'm going to tell you right now, World War III started towards the end of the Cold War. Okay? The Cold War, what happened was, the Yuri Bezmenov talks about this, is he defected in the 1980s, I believe, but the interview was from 1984, which is a year before I was born. And he talked about everything that's going on today. What they did was, what the KGB did was, they infiltrated the universities, and they started they used several vectors. One was basically economy. They started sabotaging capitalist info by talking about how communism was better. So they started ripping poison in the ear of all those classes. And then they found the other vector, which was feminism. Feminism was already a problem. A lot of people don't know about like how feminists started out, where they were bombing churches and crap like that. That's how feminism started. Most people don't know about that history because they don't take the time to learn it. So feminism started out as a very violent thing, and they used that vector because they knew guys would, wanted to help women, because, the weaker they make the population, the more that they will put women up on a pedestal and go back to that slave mentality where the women will act out of fear for children's safety. Why do they always talk about in the media? The children. That's why, is to make the women afraid their children are going to be harmed, so they'll just go along out of emotional fear of what's going to happen and submit to the control. Okay, so this is what happened: is they drip this poison in, and what he described is that all you have to do to destabilize a population is to educate one generation like this. One generation in the school system is all it took. And now that's why you're seeing the culmination of this. And this is basically the only way, the only cure, I'll try to keep this short, the only cure for this psychological indoctrination, because it's so thorough how the methodology that they developed to do this, they used it to destabilize lots of nations, smaller nations, and then they upped it to the United States. And that's why when they say Russia, 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 they're technically right. But here's where things got interesting. Russians failed because we figured out what they were doing. They got the seeds in there, so we're seeing the result of the seeds. But what happened is we knew Russia was a threat. Here's what happened. China learned from Russia's mistakes, and they took over the program. I got warned about this back in 2004 playing World of Warcraft with a Chinese buddy of mine. And I was talking to some kids over VPN in China behind the firewall. And one of the little boys was, he was 14 and he was racist, straight up racist. So he started talking all this mad shit to me and my brothers about, how we were going to be getting screwed. And it was just a matter of years before, the 100-year war came to fruition. China set out back then. This is what they described these Chinese kids as an open secret in China. They are at war, 100% war with the United States, but it's a trade psyop war. Okay, it is not an open war. It is trade war. And what they did is they saw the seeds that the Russians had planted, and so they infiltrated universities. China's been stealing information from the universities using this methodology. Okay, so that's how they get a lot of their technology for free. And the result of this is we have this craziness going on where they're constantly oppressing men and elevating women to power positions, because the women will comply with the fear. So it's fear mongering. So whatever your fear is, they'll say, I have a cure for your fear. If you're afraid of a virus, if you're afraid of this, you're afraid of that, just do all these things to give up control and we'll take care of it for you. That's the war that's going on right now. That's what's fucking everybody up. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want clarity for you guys to understand. You are 100% right. Here's the cure. I'll wrap up here now that I got all that out there. There's a lot of nuance to this, but the cure is the only cure that Yuri Bezmenov described is you have to raise an entirely new generation of kids to be educated properly. And my dad knew about this because he actually knew a guy from Russia that taught him Grandmaster chess and all that. He infused me with all that knowledge as well. And that's why when I saw that interview with Yuri, I was like, holy shit, that's the same shit my dad was talking about this other Russian guy that taught him Grandmaster chess when he was in juvie and taught him psychology and told him raise his kids outside of media. I didn't have TV at all when I was growing up. My dad got rid of the TV when I was 1 because he saw me like staring at the TV and not responding to him. And he just literally took the TV and threw it out. Just got rid of the TV. We didn't have another TV in the house for 10 years.
Your dad was aware. And I'm gonna say this, in Houston, what was it, like last year, we've been dealing with the Chinese consulate here. They were shredding a bunch of documents because it was found out that they were spying on people from the consulate here. And so then that's why Trump was like, we're gonna stop your embassy in Houston. And so we're cutting this off. And so China said, no, we're not leaving. And that's been a whole thing. So here we saw that, like if you drove past Crawford Street downtown where it is, they were having a big bonfire, getting rid of stuff before, because they somehow figured out that they were about to be raided or audited or whatever it's called. So they were getting rid of stuff beforehand. And then it was a big deal. You know, like, so that was a whole thing down here. And I want to say it was last year because the COVID was happening.
Yep. And I heard about it a little bit on the news, and then nothing.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, we still don't know. Like when I drive past the building, it doesn't look like there's anything going on. But I do know that China said that they were going to declare open war if they were required to leave. Like that was their response. Their response was no. And if you try to get rid of us, we're going to take this as a hostile threat and we're going to act. That was their official statement.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because the population. See, here's another factor. The psyop was the second part. China actually, because of, like I said, it's a trade war. A lot of people don't know about this. Like, for one, overweight, obesity. How fat is this nation?
Mm-hmm.
So a small little health factor a lot of people don't know is that your fat stores produce estrogen. They are an estrogen producing factory. So all these fat beta dudes, the reason why they're so emotional is because they literally have too much body fat. The more body fat you have, the more emotional you become. This affects both men and women. And the reason why it affects men more is because it destabilizes your testosterone levels. And the reason why this affects the black community even more is because of vitamin D. Vitamin D is valuable, or is invaluable for producing testosterone. So a lot of people, a lot of black folks are not getting enough sunlight. Basically, they're not getting enough vitamin D in their body. And it lowers your testosterone levels, and it raises your estrogen levels, which unbalances you. Which this is what happened to me for years. I was obese up until before COVID, right? I weighed 244 pounds. I'm down to 165, right? And that was after a year of hard work and, just hitting. I built the home gym because I saw the lockdowns coming. So I built the home gym and I just worked out the entire year and not had to worry about going out to a gym or anything like that. So that alone cleared my mind. Fixing my body cleared my mind, and then I was able to actually go out and learn a lot of the information. That's why I'm actually putting this out here, is because I hear you guys. You're saying a lot of the same stuff, but I was going back a little bit further in history in terms of the psychological warfare with the KGB and stuff like that. So when they say Russia, they're right, but it's not Trump.
Can I ask a question though? Can I ask a question? Because I'm aware of a lot of stuff that you spoke about, because I've been studying my enemy for 20 years. My issue is when you speak about raising a new generation, until these groups that's been in power for the longest time are eradicated, their descendants will be the ones in charge of the way the generations will be raised. Like we're going into this new virtual reality and all kind of transhumanism and all these different things. Most of these people that are in power are we can never, as black people, we can never be with these people. We can never be unified with these people. We don't belong together, and they know it. That's why that's why you're able to come up here and speak in the manner in which you speak, is because of the systems that they designed. Even when they had us enslaved, when they was raping our women, they was screwing themselves out of existence. So, like, if we read the King Leopold's writings, we read Cecil Rhodes' writings, we talk about slavery in the Indian Ocean, the Arab slave trade. We learn these different things. That's why I was aware of a lot of the stuff that you talk about. But the thing is, for us as melanated people, these people are our mortal enemies, and their survival is predicated on us being in the position that we're in. So even when we're raising a new generation of people, who will be the ones in power that will be in charge of raising that nation? See, these are conversations that has to be had, because the white man, he has to have power. He can't live without power, because him in a vulnerable position, he don't exist.
The thing is, though, George, I get where you're coming from. I understand that, and that's what you're saying is actually facts. It's facts. But what I'm trying to say, the power really is on you as an original man, teaching your young one. And this is where, as men, if you decide to have kids, because there's some people that decide not to have none, but if you're gonna have some, that mean that you're gonna continue society going on. If you don't decide to have none, that's what. Hey, because that's like my bro right here. He do. but he's gonna do whatever he got to do within his lifespan to teach whoever you got to teach. So that's his add-on. But your add-on is you teach your kids. You teach your kids what it is, and we have to step up. If we want changes where we're at, we have to raise our kids to take those seats. Take those seats.
Yeah, exactly. Because like Yuri described, the brainwashing methodology, because it's not like brainwashing where people think where you're like putting a strap in a chair and like do this, do that. No, it's not like that. It's the poison dripping in the ear, like like ooh, communism is better because of some bogus fact. More people have died from communism than capitalism, but yet most people will nowadays say that capitalism is worse, but capitalism is the only system that has actually helped more people out of poverty than put them into poverty by sheer numbers. Regardless of the evils,
how many countries of communism are real still standing?
Mm-hmm. So you're right about that. These people have to die out. That's the thing. That was why the plan that they put into motion back then, they don't even have to do anything now. It's already taken off because basically these people are now that were trained back in like the 60s, 70s, 80s were all brought up to think this way. And that's why the NPC meme is a thing, is because they're repeating that same algorithm, that same programming, that same brainwashing, which is why men and women across the board will say the same things, even if it's logically flawed, and assume it feels right to them.
Can I speak to that one part right there, though, what you're saying? And this is why, even when we say that we got to teach our children, until you eradicate this system and this consciousness, what we're teaching our children is part of the programming, because a lot of us are programmed. Our children learn the things that they learn from us because we're caught in this matrix. You have to eradicate this system and create a new consciousness.
But that's where now the self comes into play and it takes steps.
Yeah,
and we was on a good path. We was on a good path back in the 80s. We was on a good path.
And what they do.
Because what happened? Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. What happened?
Watch this. They brought in what you call Operation Mockingbird on in the CIA, and they want to control your consciousness by what's in the music, what's on TV, what's in your food.
Yeah.
We got to look at the different operations that the CIA put in place. And all I'm saying is this, man. That's all I'm saying. These people that are in power will. Their lifestyle, their life is predicated on being in power and you being in the position that you are in. And I'm not saying, and see, this is the thing, because see, my understanding of white people, I understand history. As black people, who we think white people are and the way white people view themselves is two totally different things as far as culture and power and different things. So when I'm speaking of power, there's certain groups of white people that can't even get in the room. They're not even viewed as white people. These people that's in power have to be eradicated. And if they're not eradicated,
it's not about color, it's about class. That's the thing. A lot of people are gaslit into thinking that it's about color, but it's not. They just want us fighting amongst each other.
There you go.
That's why
I told you. And this is why I brought up the story of Yaakov, because I know it sounds offensive to a lot of people, and to certain people it sounds offensive, but their creation from us. It still comes from us, regardless how you want to look at it. Yeah, it's different. It might look different, but we all have an arm, leg, arm, and a head. We all got that shit. So we all come from the same shit. We just look different.
And to me, part of knowledge is not focusing on stuff that is a distraction. Right? So when you pay attention and you realize, right, that there are some Caucasian people that are in the same predicament as us. Now, the thing that they don't share with us is the history, right? They get to live a life where their ancestors never had to go through certain things. But in terms of where they are in today's society, in real life, they will get shown the door just as quickly if they are not part of that elite class. So it would not be beneficial for them to fight on that side
so they do need to be part of these conversations, up to a point. Certain things we are going to say within ourselves, but like the bigger overall picture in terms of rehabbing the structure of our society for the betterment of everyone, they do need to be a part of that discussion. Because my question is, now here's an example. When Viking was speaking, I heard a lot of language and pronouns where he was distancing himself from some of the things that were done in the past. He's not like he used a lot of they, pronouns.
Topaz, you will find that, and see a lot of people don't know how to take that in or accept that. It's because,
Right.
like I said, they're birth
They're
from
not
us.
paying attention, in
They're
my
birth
opinion.
from there's birth from us. So you will find some of them that they wasn't with the shits. They wasn't with the shits. And that's how I see Viking. He ain't with the shits. He know what it is.
Right.
This is
Right.
what
I'm gonna jump off
this is where the
real fast.
10%. This is where the
Okay,
10%
George,
coming to
thank
play.
you for coming up, though.
George, I
And
appreciate
don't
you,
be a
George.
stranger.
Peace,
Come
George.
back to the channel over here, all right?
I want to thank everybody, man. This is the type of conversations that's needed to be had, man. And I just say to my melanated brothers, it's our job to civilize the uncivilized, man. And when we wake up out this dream and understand like who we are, things have changed. Things is being this illusion is being what it is because we still caught up in this Freddy Krueger, man. We got to get out.
Mhm.
We got to get out. We got to get out of it, man. And so, thanks to the brothers, man. Thanks to Viking coming up, saying what saying what he's saying. But brothers, we got to wake up, man. It's our job to civilize the uncivilized. Peace.
George,
Right,
man.
right.
George,
And
George,
I do
come
want to
sub
say
me up.
this. I've
Come
heard
sub
Viking
me up,
speak on other
George.
panels too, so I do feel like this is genuine. He isn't just saying this just because he got popped up on this panel. He has said these things also. So just so y'all know.
Come sub me up, George. I'll be dropping that knowledge over there. King to God. Look me
Yeah,
up. You know what I'm saying?
now I know. Yeah, I'm gonna come over there and check you.
Come sub me up, man. I'm building my channel. I'm out here trying to give that knowledge.
Yeah,
know?
I definitely gotta come over there, man. All right, peace. I gotta go
Yeah.
do my run, man. It's time to run 5 miles.
I appreciate you. I
Right.
appreciate
Okay.
you
So
passing
good
through,
job,
man.
George. And I watch your videos from either the clouds or the replay because I've been working. But I have not forgotten. I did post in there that people need to come over and support the urban nerds.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
you
remember
just
y'all?
make sure you keep coming over here.
We the original people, man. People
There
only
you
got
go.
power over us because we give them the power, man. That's all.
Exactly.
And when we say that, I know we got Viking up here. I know Viking might he cool to me because I got a whole heap of white friends.
I do too,
Really?
I
man.
got a whole heap of white friends.
I
So
do.
I'm
I
not
ain't
trying
gonna
to be
lie.
disrespectful to my brother about what I'm saying, but it's just what it is. And it's not saying it's not me saying what I'm saying that y'all birth from us is not to say like I'm trying to disrespect, like I'm looking at you low or nothing. No. That's like me having my son. That's like me having my son. It's like, am I gonna look at my son like he's lower than me? No.
Well, I mean, the science backs up what you say because
That's
if
what
you
I'm
take the
saying.
ancestry back far enough, yes, our species originated from Africa, the continent of Africa, and some of us migrated different places, spread out on the continent. Some of us migrated up to Europe and the colder environments where our melanin decreased to make us more able to survive in the environment. I'm a descendant of those people. I have the Neanderthal DNA. I actually have a breakdown on my channel in the about section that explains because I did a DNA test, right? So here, I'll just go through it real quick so you guys can kind of see like what my DNA is.
Look
I
how he
actually
look at
look
his
back.
DNA test. Go ahead. Break it down, Viking.
So
Break it down.
25% Norwegian, 25% Norwegian, 21% British, 21% Irish, 17% Finnish, 6% French, 6% German, 3% Ashkenazi Jew, and 1% Neanderthal. So I have a very diverse background, but it's all from
Yeah,
mainly
you all
Europe.
over Europe.
So
Like
it's like, and you can tell my ancestors don't fucking discriminate. We don't care. The only
yeah.
thing that matters is, are you a good person and do I want to have babies with you?
Hey, I got
That's exactly what
13%
I was.
British and
Look,
11%
Viking, when
Irish.
you read off that breakdown, I was like, it's no more than 20% of anything. Like, it's just, you come from a people that just decided, look, I'm going to pick somebody else just the whole
Well,
time.
I'm actually just
That's
this
that.
side of naturalized now. My mom is technically an immigrant, right? My great grandparents came over from Norway and whatnot on both sides, and my dad's side was a one night stand with I guess a Finnish guy that was part Jewish, stuff like that. So that's where that DNA comes from, and
So
so
that's
he
why
was
you're
raised by
able
a
to do
single
this.
mom.
You had a
So he was
family
he was
that
a
taught
soldier
you.
on war leave or on shore leave or some shit like that. He was doing some stuff, or at least that's what he told her, right? It might not have been the case, but that's why he smashed and dashed, right? Ejaculate and evacuate, and that's where my dad came from.
Yeah, see, so that's why you're able to handle these conversations. You come from a line of people that are like, look, I don't want to do all that extra. Is this person good to me right now? That's what I care about. And I do want to welcome Beach to the panel too.
Beach, what's going on with you, Beach?
Beach, the Taurus gang right here. We gonna gang up on y'all.
Oh, y'all on
no, see, it's my half birthday, so I'm crashing y'all celebration, just so y'all know.
Half birthday. What you mean?
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio, so y'all my opposite. So I'm crashing y'all party.
Oh, you way over there.
Topaz with this shit. I might have to do a little stream after this Topaz. I might have to throw a little turn up session after this.
Wait a minute, hold on. So I get an after party stream, so it's gonna be a Topaz after stream. I finally got one.
Hey,
Kane. I'm gonna do it, Topaz.
Hey, Kane, I was gonna build yesterday on knowledge, man, but I woke up mad late because somebody hit me with something, man. And I just woke up late, but I made a thumbnail. I sent it to Topaz, I think, on Instagram. Yeah, I sent you my thumbnail that I had made up. Yo, it was perfect for the knowledge. It was perfect.
I was trying to think of one for you. I wanted to do a show yesterday about the knowledge.
If she can do that and show the thumbnail, my dog, like that was perfect. Because
and just so you know, I'm gonna be adding your thumbnail.
I sent it to you.
Okay. I'm gonna open it now, but I'm gonna be adding your thumbnail to my stream. Okay, Nu? I'm just gonna be taking it, just so you know.
Okay, if you can do that, that's cool too.
Okay.
But I mean, even today is wisdom, it's not knowledge, but the thumbnail goes with knowledge.
Still good. It all works. Like
that's cool.
It still works. Today's wisdom.
Yeah,
we get it. But
I mean,
I wrote a whole bunch of notes for you today, Topaz. It's all good. We didn't get to all of it, but the 5% is.
We can do a part two because
because this ain't over. Knowledge is infinite. Like I always tell you, knowledge is infinite. That's why every day I learn something new.
Hey, Viking, for my DNA, I found out that I was 13% British and 11% Irish.
There you go.
Off of my DNA. That shit was kind of crazy, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and for a little bit of context, exactly. We're all human. You commented on how I can handle these sort of conversations. Well, I mentioned in chat before, I grew up Seventh-day Adventist as well. So my family was in the Seventh-day Adventist church until I was about 7. And see, here's the thing. I was really into the religion. I wanted to be baptized. And here's how I found out how corrupt churches are, is that they wouldn't let me be baptized because in Seventh-day Adventist church, you have to be 18 and be able to pay tithe in order to be baptized. They will not let you be baptized until you hit 18 for money reasons. So even though I answered all the questions of the pastor, because I wanted to be baptized at 5, they made me wait until I was 7, and then I had to pass a test where the pastor asked me 5 questions, including a trick question that I then answered and stumped him on at 7 years old. And then I forced him to admit to me that it was because of the money.
That's funny.
And that's when I decided I was done with the religion. It's like,
I didn't go through all that. Your Seventh-day Adventist church was much different from mine. I didn't go through all that, but I think I've heard of that. I've heard of that going on, but I didn't go through that. But at 7, I definitely, my mother couldn't take me to the church no more. Because me personally, I was trying to holler at the
Yo, I've never been to church, man. I've never been indoctrinated.
Well, the story that we left, the reason why we left the church
at 7, I was trying to holler. At 7, I was trying to holler.
I went to a Catholic private school, a boarding school for boys. Actually.
That's crazy. I didn't even know.
I never went to church.
Yo, I did not know that they had Seventh-day Adventist churches where was your church predominantly white or was it like a black church?
We had one black family. And that's the funny thing is that
and you were Seventh-day Adventist? Oh, hold on. I gotta go holler at my peoples because they still Seventh-day Adventists. I'm God. I'm laughing at them like, ha 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 ha. That's what y'all doing.
Where are you from, Viking? Because that's one thing I have not heard you say.
Viking sound like one of my homies. You from
Huh?
I'm from the
Wisconsin?
Midwest, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit! I gotta come visit
That's why
Wisconsin.
I don't know a lot of black people in Wisconsin. It's cold.
I gotta go
We don't
visit
do
Yeah.
cold.
Wisconsin.
Here's the thing:
well,
is
you
that
said it, Topaz. It's cold.
Yeah, exactly.
only
We
half the
can't
year.
handle cold. We are not capable of that.
Beach, why you so quiet, Beach? You never quiet, Beach. What's going on
Well,
with you,
I've been
Beach?
in her live stream all morning almost, man. She
Beach
had
was
one
Wait,
this
bitch,
morning.
you
turning
went
up.
live this morning? See, I was asleep. I got to tell y'all, I woke up late.
Well, she
Beach,
2
what's
hours
going
ahead of
on?
me, so
She can't even get a mic together. Beach, where you at? Beach. You know you gotta call her name like 5 times. Beach.
Right? Beach,
She'll get it working.
like platinum.
That
That better
So,
be the real one, because I'm gonna tell
better
you right
be
now, if
yeah.
that's a troll coming up here to act stupid, I'm gonna have a whole problem with that. So
yeah,
that
we
better
don't
be the
want
real
anything like what
beach.
Nah,
happened
but
on Oppie's stream the other day.
Right,
some real
That was
shit.
exactly.
bullshit.
On some real shit to get back to it. Get back
Exactly.
to what it is, what this whole thing was about.
Yeah, it was
5% is we are God. We stand on that. That's our culture. Our culture is a way of life, and culture is a way of life. And you being God, you born that. No matter what creed you are, you're born that, and you live your life the way you want to live it. Shit, with the gods, with the gods, we made changes in New York City back in 1965. This is right, I think, right after Malcolm died. The governor back then, what was his name? I think I took some notes. Let me see. What was his name back then? The governor. Let me see. Yeah, the governor back then, whoever his name was, 1965. Yeah, I look it up. I ain't looking it up. I ain't looking it
Right.
up.
No,
God
like, look, this thing, some people need to be able to research. They can hear some stuff, and then if they have the knowledge, they can go out and research. Because when I heard certain things being spoken, I went and looked it up.
Yeah, I know, because that's the era that we living in, and yeah, we have this option. Because back in the day, they a lot of truths is like, I think Viking said that a lot of the truths they put it out there. It's out there right in your face. That's how they trick you.
yeah,
Because for the
it wasn't
most
me,
part,
but I agree. Yeah, the devil will tell you the truth, but the thing is that you have to read the subtext,
there you
right?
go.
You have to read between the lines. My dad told me that all the time. Son, you need to read between the lines.
Ooh, Viking, you cooking right now. Viking, that's your third eye. That's your
what's in
pops
what?
telling you to look at life through your third eye. That's what
Right.
third eye. Your third
Well,
eye
what's
makes
in
you look
every
at
belief
things right
though,
between the
Kane?
line.
What's in every belief?
Nah, let me let you answer that.
Usually
Spell
a
it
higher
out.
power.
Spell belief.
Uh-oh.
But the thing is that a lot of people get distracted. That's the thing, is that most of what's going on right now as part of the psyop that I
But
talked about
that's what
before
they do.
is mostly meant as a distraction. It's meant to cause internal chaos. We're fighting amongst each other, and we don't know what's going on outside and
That's
what
the
everybody else is doing.
technology. That's a technology that television, listen to what I said. Television is teaching the people. And
I see
that's
that
why
passed. I see that passed over your head.
Well, and you touched on that before. The key is that you can take in bad information, but you have to know how to filter it. You have to be able to filter out the bad information and take the
Viking.
good
But I told them,
and
but I said
separate the
that.
bad.
I
There you
just
go,
said it.
Viking.
I just
I
said
agree
it,
with
but
you,
y'all
Viking.
didn't get it.
I said that
You
too.
have to
This
you
is
have
why
to
I
always
take in
do
bad
that.
information. I
Thank
take
you,
in bad
Darflo.
information. If a
Thank you.
motherfucker's talking some goofy shit, I take that shit in. I'm gonna take goofy information. I'm gonna take good information. I'm gonna take all, because everything is information. Knowledge is key. Even if you hit me with some bullshit, that's knowledge.
My nigga, I just said
That's
it.
what
I
you
just
doing?
said it. In every belief,
It's
there's a
like when you
lie.
have a dark thought. It's like when you have a dark thought. It doesn't mean that you're a monster. It means that your brain had a moment where it explored a thought. It doesn't make you a bad person because you had a thought like,
Exactly.
what would happen if that person died or something like that? What
Exactly.
happened if that person got hit by a car?
It's
Your
your
brain
reaction
does
to it.
those
Like,
things.
what do you do with that information? When you see it, do you act? If it's bad information, do you act on it? Do you try to spread it, or do you dismiss it and find a way to resolve it? That's the difference.
Exactly.
And that's
Every soldier knows how to kill people, but
and
they don't
that's
go around
'cause-
killing people.
And that's because society teaches you kumbaya. There's no such thing as
Exactly. That's the
kumbaya.
default.
There's no such thing as kumbaya. You live your life the way you want to live it. You do what you want to do.
There you go.
And
I made up
you have to accept whatever comes with that. That's the other side to it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, but I gotta know. And this is where this goes back. This goes back to being swift and changeable, but always remainable. Like, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, but you gotta understand that you have to understand the law of the land. So you can do whatever you want to do, but the law of the land, that's what it is. That's just the life that you have to understand, the life that you live in. When you have knowledge of self, you understand your surroundings. You understand what's going on in life. That's moving on God level. Even in the Bible,
situational awareness.
Even in the Bible, what they say God did? God came down and he snuck and got some cooch. He snuck and got some cooch. Stole it
Man,
from
he did it so tough.
What?
And
Now
then he had
somebody
another
said the
man
God
take
was
care
out
of his
here
fucking
trying to
baby.
get the box.
Then he had another man take care of his fucking baby.
Come on, listen to the story.
Oh,
Listen to the
Lord.
story
That
that
nigga passed
people
the
are
book like
standing
a
on.
motherfucker.
Listen to the story that people are standing on. So you can understand why you hear goofy shit. Like, listen to the story that people stand on. We're standing on the story that, yo, we got a guy that came from above, stole some cooch from
But hold on.
from
So
a chick that already had a situation.
I'm gonna come down from the heavens in the form of man in the physical and kill myself, get fucked up, and
The
then make
story
y'all
is
believe in me.
the story is great. The story is great. Trust and believe. That's why that book still sells
I
to this
talked to a
day.
burning bush, nigga. You was smoking that kush.
The story
Y'all
is
silly.
great. Nah, the story is great. The story is a great story. Trust and believe. I believed it for years. For years out of my life, I believed that shit. But once I understood what it really was, God is in you. You are God. Whatever decisions you make in life, that's the decisions you made. And it's on you.
Yeah,
People,
that was
people,
the epiphany I came to. Was
yeah.
that when, like I said, the story? I don't want to go into this whole story about like how we left the church because it would involve some BS with a guy that was molesting his daughter. So I think I shared that story on one of the other podcasts I was on. But yeah, it was messed up. But we left, and my dad made bad choices. Because he was raised by a single mom, his extremely abusive household. Extremely. That's why he was such a tough bastard. He ran away at 14 and was sleeping around with adult women and picking them up in bars so he could have a place to crash at night. So that's why my dad was so good and why I had some natural game coming out, because my dad told me straight, like it showed that masculine frame, but it was tainted by his addiction, his alcoholism. So for a long time, the reason why I got so fucked up is because I didn't know the difference between masculine behavior and alcoholic behavior. So it wasn't until, more recently where I met some guys and somebody asked about like what community I'm from. I essentially am in what people call the manosphere or the red pill community. Those are the guys that gave me the bits of now the 4% I was missing of knowledge that I needed to complete my game and my game plan. So they gave me that, and that's why I mess with guys like Afi and whatnot, because Afi's the one that helped me figure out how much of a pimp I was. I was running low-level pimp game and didn't even know it.
Hold on.
I'm not laughing at you saying it. I'm laughing at the
Bro.
way you said it. How much of a pimp I was.
See,
like extremely proper for a pimp.
Y'all see the brother that's up here right now. And y'all what he said? He said
Kane,
game.
type in the chat real quick.
All right, let me type real quick. Hold on. Let me pull that up.
But no, okay, I'm listening, y'all. Go ahead.
Nah, but did you hear what the brother
they
just
asked
said?
for your link, so I dropped your link in the chat.
The brother just said game because that's why y'all don't understand. I be hearing the arguments brothers be having about game. Nah, it's the game of life, man. Game was just something that we created back in the day.
Yeah. I can explain how I know about game. Okay, I actually don't know game about from the red pill community. I know about game from a place called Ally Drive in Madison, Wisconsin. Okay, this is a place where a lot of people back in the 90s, because my dad fucked up because he was a drunk. He got his I think it was either third or fourth drunk driving, and we were forced to be homeless, and so we ended up having to move to the low income area, right? for a good year. So this is where I went from Seventh-day Adventist church, where we had one black family and I was cool with everybody, and nothing was an issue. There was no racism, no even like soft racism or covert racism, right? So I was completely ignorant of anything to do with race. I just thought that people were people and we should accept each other for who we are. Get to the ghetto and I start getting called little cracker kid. And stuff like that. And I started getting, told that I hate people. I'm going up trying to introduce myself to other black kids in the community and saying, hey, can we, you want to be friends? And they're like, no, you hate me. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't even know you. How do you know I hate you? Like, you hate me because I'm black. I'm like, no, I don't. I kind of wish I had black skin so I wouldn't get sunburned. I get sunburned like crazy. I burn and feel like a fucking vampire. Yeah. So that was my experience, is that I went through that. And one day I was kind of hanging out at the bus stop talking to people, and there was a couple things that happened that day, right? It was kind of like an epiphany. So if you guys don't mind me telling the story about how I met a real player hitting on a chick and he put me on some game, that's what happened. Like, I was just hanging out at the bus stop. This dude was backing on this half Latina chick, and she was playing it cool and stuff like that. And I came up and I was asking him, like, what he was talking about, because I didn't understand the terminology. So I wanted to learn the terminology, because he was talking about macking and, pimping and stuff like, oh, and no, I ain't like that girl and shit like that. Me, we fucked around before, like, nobody's going to find out, and he's whispering all this stuff in her ear, because she's not supposed to be fucking with him, but they're alone at the bus stop. So they're kind of having their thing, and he's running game on her. And so he gave me a rundown of basically, he's like, does your daddy lead your relation? Does your dad lead your mom and shit like that, right? Is he, and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, so you kind of know already. He's like, you have to lead women, because women like to fuck around and play games. So that's why we call it playing game. Running game is that because women want to play the game, and they don't want to be told they're playing the game, but they want you to play with them. They want to have fun. The worst thing you can do is be boring, right? And that's basically what he put you on to, is just be boring, be fun, be exciting. It doesn't matter what she says. She's going to go along with you if you lead her. And, the girl, and if he just told me this, like, man to boy, right? I probably wouldn't have believed him, but there's a chick there and she's smiling and nodding, and all the body language is congruent, because at that point my dad had trained me to read body language. So I could lie detect, right? So I can read people's body language if they're bullshitting me or not, because my dad trained me the stuff that he learned from that the Russian guy, psychology and whatnot, how to like actually profile people. So I knew they weren't BSing me. So that was how I first got put onto game, and how I learned about racism and basically, how to not be a dick. But I ended up being a dick anyway. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh shit. I got a few brothers. I got a few. Real quick. Beach. That's Beach. What's going on, Beach?
Yeah, now I'm glad it's the real her, because we was gonna have a whole problem. Y'all not gonna be using Beach picture to come up here and troll us. Okay. Hey, lady, what you
I mean, not for real. I think I'm just like, in effect, I'm pulling through, baby. It's gonna be a couple days.
Exactly. Okay.
You've been partying way before your birthday.
I'm woke, but
it out, B.
Well, she should have told me,
like a couple
right?
Because
I could have came down there and we could have truly turned up. But she ain't want to tell me. But don't worry about it, because next time I'll be there.
That wasn't a turn up. Let me tell you what happened. This is so bad. Let me tell you, that wasn't even supposed to be a turn up. That I wanted some chicken wings. Okay, let's figure out some food. That's why I can't go. No, this one I can't go nowhere and do nothing simple. All I was supposed to be doing was get some chicken wings and maybe a bourbon. Okay, that was it. Got there. It's like, hey, wait, hold on a second. And then that was not actually. It's what you get. I tell people, it's a series of moments, and you don't have to plan anything, but that in every. I'm gonna take advantage of every moment that I can and make the best of it, because that's just how I live. But yeah, I was
okay. Well, now, Beach, listen, we're gonna talk about the turn up later. So,
okay,
my question is,
simple, and I'm
Beach is on one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we
All the
should talk.
time. I love it. Look, now, Beach, you up here
We had
now,
a
right?
little
So we're gonna
we
talk
had a
about
little
the turn up
convo in the
later. But
chat.
question: have you met or talked to 5%ers? Because y'all know, like Beach, she is in the AKA sorority. She talks to a lot of Masons. You know, and I don't know, like, do you ever talk to Eastern Stars?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Okay, so Beach is
I'll
clued into that
Be right
sector.
back. Gotta go
So
pay the
Beach,
water
have you ever
bill.
talked to 5%ers before?
Do you know what a 5% is, Beach?
go back to the who.
Five
Nah.
percenters.
I saw that in your title, and I'm like, that I'm like, oh, this is something I want to let me get in on
She
this
never heard of
combo.
that. Yes, that's what I'm
Are you
saying. For a lot
talking
of people,
about
for a
the
lot of people,
percentage
it's
of
new.
people that are calling shots? Are you talking about the people that are like shot callers?
No, not like that. It's an entire lifestyle. Like, so there is, it's a knowledge, because I keep trying to say belief system, but it's actually
It's
focused
not a
on
belief. It's
knowledge of
knowing.
self.
It's knowing. It's not a
Right.
belief. It's
Knowing.
knowing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's because it's ironic
Oh,
that we bump into each other on this podcast because
yeah.
it's a paradigm.
I gotta be.
A paradigm, if you look it up, is basically a mindset based on kind of a scientific academic understanding that gives you a framework of basically how to live your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I want to ask her. I,
Beach, you Borgen.
Yeah. Beach Borgin. I
yeah, I
can't
mean
hear
that's cool.
Beach.
Yeah, I'm all about look, a lot of things about myself. I listen. At the end, y'all know how it comes down to
I know she's saying
uh
some good. I know she's
action
saying
over
some good
yapping.
stuff, but I can't hear. She
Because
Borgin.
there's been
Beach, you
so many
Borgin.
conversations I've done. I've been in part of a lot of things we talk about, and over the time, it's action gonna always beat the yapping. And so basically, we talk all day about this and that and shit, but the only thing that makes results is action. So what I'm basically, you got to get out here and do something. You got to do you like get up, get out, do something. Talk is, that's why we always talk cheap. What are you doing to make something better? What are you doing to improve your community? What do you do? What are you coming out of your pocket to help? How are you moving in an orchestrated way that can at least get, if you can't get it, you can't save, everybody clearly, but at least these two kids right here got a chance to maybe get into, help them get into the a little bit of a better school. So all of that right there, it would mean it would just go in one ear for me and out the other, because I have to be active. I have to be doing something. It's not about self. I sacrifice. Um, the end of my oath that I take is service to all mankind, and it's not service to myself. Even though what I do does benefit me, we're all. I'm going to be providing service, and if we're not doing service, then there's no point. And what are we here for? So if I always ask people, so tell me what you're doing. Tell me what your group is doing. How can we help? How are you having something? Is there what do you need? What's your mission like? Because all the talk is, I've seen 2 years later, people on YouTube, I'm like, you've been saying this for 2 years, sir, and I haven't seen you do a thing. Like, show me, like, what I want to see people actually doing something, action, or are you just yapping? So I'm gonna always be like, what is your purpose? What are you doing? You're waking people. I'm not trying to hear that no more, because some folks need to stay asleep. Some people don't need to go. Some people need to stay asleep because they in the way of people who are trying to actually make things better for other people that want better. Everybody doesn't want better. That's why they made that song, Don't Save Her. She don't want to be saved. I have to identify, okay, this person does not want to be saved. Stop wasting your time. Go over here and see what the person wants. So I have to ask, okay, what do you do besides I don't want to hear knowledge ain't gonna pay nobody's light bill. See, knowledge ain't gonna help somebody when one day to come up with the water bill. Knowledge ain't that's not what she's trying to hear. She needs help. Somebody needs help. So I'm all in the service industry. So that's what I would ask. Okay, whatever this 5% is, what are they contributing to humankind, not any specific race, whatever curriculum, any of that, just
Beach,
mankind.
hold on. Wait a second, Beach,
That's what I want.
Beach, wait a second. Because in New York City, and this
Hold on, that's
it
exactly what this stream is for, Beach. That's why I did this stream. Go ahead, Kane.
It always starts small. Because in New York City, because they thought we was a gang, because of the movement that we was making, so many people wanted to join. And not to make it sound like it's a gang, because it's not a gang, it's just understanding who you are. But because a lot of people was understanding who they were, and this was back in 1965, if I'm not correct. Let me look at my notes. I took some notes. Hold on, let me shuffle my papers.
63 to 65? I think it's 63 to 65.
Yeah, between 63 and 65. They made moves within the city to where the governor had to come and holler at us. So like, yo, what are y'all really doing? Like, is this a group that's trying to be anti? And no, that's not. We about uplifting our community and letting people know who they are. And by you understanding that you are God, it'll make you understand that you should move on a different level. And by me saying that you moving on a different level is that you looking at things outside of the physical. Like, you're not dealing with things on a society level. Like, yeah, I'm about uplifting my people. My people is GODs. Yes, GODs came from black people because we are original. It is what it is. I know a lot of people might take offense to that. Like, yo,
okay. So it's basically a fairly new group of people. It started in New York. Came together.
It's not even new because the teachings. But it is, like I said, this was birthed. It was birthed in 1963, I believe, 63. But the teachings go further back.
You don't know the founding date. Can no offense. What do I find?
I'm telling you what the founding date was.
Look, I want to go for myself and learn. I know you're telling me that this is how I operate. People, some people will never get, like, you want to create it, you want to be taken seriously. Where do we go? Like, I want to know, like, if this is something that I didn't know about, I want to know. Like, let me find where I go to find out about the 5%. Where do I go? Who's the link? Where's to go
and this
to?
Is what I'm telling you.
Who's the?
I am a link.
I don't want to say the plug, but what year? Like, how do you find out more about it?
This is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm
Google
sure
can be
you are, but
no, I get it. Yeah, I am. So but then from what you hear from what you hear from me, that's the start. At least you heard it. So now it's on you to go out there and find that knowledge. I'm giving you a foundation. The lessons is out there. The lessons is there. Everything I'm speaking on comes from the lessons.
Well, the first thing, Beach. Here's the thing. A lot of shit you will find some of the foundation of the knowledge on Google or on websites. But the thing is, not a lot of shit was in books way back when. When people got their knowledge, they got it from, an enlightener, which is written down, and then you wrote down, and you wrote down, and then that person wrote down, so it was passed on. So you're not gonna find a lot of people or go to a bookstore and and get that information. So, like I said, like Kane said, he is.
I know, of course. I understand. I mean, I support secret societies. I support some that I don't even mention on here just because it's not the place for it. And I'm trying to birth. Well, I don't want to say birth, but hopefully we can. We're trying to do something else. It's going to take some time, resources, and you want to be nationally. Have your own government so that people can't tell you how to run your stuff. It takes a lot of work and a lot of money. I was just asking because I didn't know anything about it. Like I get what you're saying, but you're not going to find everything, but like you say, you're not gonna find anything. So
Not
all
not
I
saying
have
you're
is
gonna
what you
find
It's
tell
there.
me.
anything.
Like I
It's
I know.
out there.
I said there's information out there, but you're not
and
gonna
it's over
find
5%.
all
Besides,
all the information. 5%ers, nation of gods and
Nah,
earth.
you Google that, you'll find it. The teachings is out there, but you could get taught. The thing
what
with
do they
being a
call 5%?
Yeah,
5%
Lord,
Google
nation,
5%ers.
5%ers, or you could call it nation of gods and earths, whatever you want to look up. But like I'm telling y'all, it's a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you're a big chick or if you're a big dude. Cause I don't when I speak, I don't just speak on like I'm just trying to
no,
disrespect women. If you're a big chick or a big dude and you try and lose weight, what do? You go out there and figure out ways to lose weight. And in order for you to lose that weight is a way of life. Is a way of life for you
so
to
do
lose the weight
y'all going through
and to keep the
supreme
weight off.
mathematics and all that?
Nah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Do
we
you
deal
all
with
going
supreme.
to this?
We deal with
Yeah,
supreme
you going through
mathematics
supreme
because
mathematics?
yeah, we deal with supreme mathematics because math will always be right. If you do
Oh,
math,
okay. There's a
math will
part that's
always be
missing
right.
there
My bad.
because
Go
once
ahead.
you start diving into the supreme mathematics, most, and I'm not gonna say all, I'm not sure about every other thing like that, but I know you start off with a fasting, and that fasting builds a foundation. So that's how you start even getting into that because it teaches
Mm,
you food and science in relation to your physical. So there's gonna be some stuff, and that's what knowledge is just getting information and observing. And then when you start
yeah,
building with other people who are into it, I mean, you take what you want or whatever. But like remember I said in your comment earlier, due diligence. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
You're gonna find it because if you're inquisitive, and we both Tauruses, we inquisitive. You know what I'm saying? And
A
that's gonna
wise
be
man
the
asks the
start.
question why. A wise
Yeah.
man asks the question why.
I've been getting trouble in my whole life for asking why.
Come on now.
That's one thing that Black parenting does not
And you better not
accept.
stop. Wow, you better not. Okay, don't stop asking why.
A
So just gonna
wise
tie
man
back
and a
into
wise
Oh, it's
woman.
too
mathematics
late
and all
now. Like
that,
And that's what
right?
all
it
the
and
answers I done
when
took
you're
for
on God
asking the
when you're on
question
God
why, I
level,
might as well keep going.
when you're on God level, when you're dealing with women, it ain't the same
So
type
this
of
has
way
been
that a lot
okay.
of
We're
these dudes
talking
deal with
29. This
women.
hasn't even been 100 years old.
What? Wait,
No,
what did you
it
just
hasn't.
say? Oh, wait a
It hasn't
second.
been 100 years old.
So
Who
yes,
said
that,
that?
that that that's the
Who said
programming
that?
right there because it's
Wait a
not that
second.
old.
I
Yeah.
just want to know who
That's kind
said
of
that. I
funny.
just want to know who said that.
V said
No,
that.
any one of y'all ladies, I don't know who said it.
Yeah,
No, Beach
I was
said it because
asking
I
about
googled it
Beach
a
said
long
it. It
because I
time
was
was
Beach.
ago.
trying to see.
It was Beach. Beach. This
Beach asked
knowledge is
because I
infinite.
googled already.
Beach.
I've already been
Beach.
reading it.
This knowledge is infinite. Knowledge has no beginning or no ending. That's God level. That's when you understand that you're on God level because you understand that you knowledge is infinite. Every day I learn something new. When I wake up in the morning, I open my eyes. I'm checking to learn something new. I'm not checking to do the same thing I did yesterday.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
get
about
that, but
elevation.
I still got a bunch
It's
of little
not a
girls that's
religion
going back
though.
to school.
It's not a
See,
religion.
I gotta put it. So
No,
when
see
I
what it
wake
is,
up,
beach,
Huh?
what I
beach.
think
But
and
I'm
what
saying
I
what it
it
is,
doesn't
beach. But
matter.
I'm saying beach.
I
What it
want to
is.
hear what I
This
want to hear,
this is
Kane. Tell me what
this
you
is a
do.
way of life. Go ahead. Say what. My bad. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. What did you say? I'm sorry. Go ahead, beach.
Tell me what you do. Like tell me. I just want to hear something that you do. I want to hear an act outside of yourself that you do that's selfless, that is a sacrifice that you do for someone else that has nothing that you do. Like what
Everybody around me.
do you do
If I
that,
mess
or
with you,
is it every day
no,
you're trying to
no.
bet
Everybody
it's about
around
you?
me. If I mess with you and you're part of my cipher, because my cipher is what goes on, what I allow into my circumference. I know I hear a lot of people say stand on your square, but I don't stand on the square. I don't live my life on a box. I live my life on a circle, so it's continuous. That's what 360 is. 360 is a continuous thing that goes on. So I help whoever, if you're in my life and I feel like you're worthy of my help, I'll help you. and I will continuously help you. Even if I see you on some fuck shit, because I will come and check you. Like, yo, I'm helping you, and you on some fuck shit. Do you continue? Do you still want my help? Because if you want some fuck shit, I'm out of here.
Well, can I ask you a
But
question? So it says
you
that
got it.
the nation does not believe in God, but instead teaches a form of apotheosis, which is the Asiatic black man is God and his proper name is Allah. So that's what it boils down to.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
asking.
That's what you asked.
Basically, there's not a
Yeah.
big, huge,
That's a
invisible
yes or
man in the
no.
sky
The
as
nation does
God.
not believe in
You.
God, but instead teaches a form of
Not
right
but a belief.
as the
Your
Asiatic
key
black
word
man is
with what you
God and
saying.
his proper name.
The key word with what you saying though, Beach, is belief. A belief is not a fact. I just believe in something. Like, yo, you could tell me anything. Like, yo, I could walk up to you and tell you I'm a millionaire. It's on you to believe me or not. A belief, that doesn't mean that it's true. A belief is not, it doesn't mean that it's true. That's why being a 5%er, we stand on knowing. That's why a lot of the things that we speak on, if we didn't experience it, we're not gonna speak on it. If we didn't experience it or we know somebody that actually went through that and showed and prove, it's all about showing and proving. That's what life is really about. See, where they got us fooled is that the belief system, believing in something, believing is not true. A belief could send you down a false rabbit hole because you believe somebody and then you find out they on some fuck shit. Being a five
Yeah, I can
percenter,
add
we go by what we know. If you can't show and prove, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't care if you can't show and prove. It's all about showing
So
and proving.
it's mostly talking. Then. All right, I got you.
Say that again.
It's a
No,
lot of
no.
it's talking.
It's not
So
about
it's a
talking.
lot
It's
of
about
talking and
no. It's
sharing
not about talking
information
because
amongst each other.
it's not about talking because showing and proving don't always be showing and proving don't always stand on talking. Showing and proving that mean that you have to really be about it. Showing and proving is not talking. Showing and proving is that you really have to be about that. Anybody can say anything to me, but when I see you in real life, is that what you're really about? Can you show and prove to me that yo you successful? You could tell me you successful. That means nothing to me. Show and prove it.
Hey, Beach,
That's
you
gonna
remember
take me to the
earlier?
next level.
Beach, you remember earlier in the chat when we was talking about the crypto joints, like the cats who do that, and I was like, yeah, you say you got the money, show me. That's the proof.
No, yeah, we don't.
I don't
I don't
stand
rock
on
with
your
Creflo.
word.
We know he's the devil.
I don't stand on your word unless your word is bond. And this is nothing that with 5 we stand on that. Your word is bond, and bond is life. Let me say that. Your word, what you say, is bond, and bond is life. If you can't stand on your word, you have nothing.
But you know what's weird though, Kane? It's like when people hear about it because they are believers, they automatically think of it as like this group. Like if you're secular human, or if you're doing shit for people and doing that for people, when you teach other people something, you doing something for people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one step in life. I mean, you still moving, you know what I'm saying, as a human being in life, but we just operating without that triple O being, you know what I'm saying, that figurehead.
if you want to know what somebody teaches, if it's valid, you judge the teacher by their students. If their students are successful, what they're preaching is most likely true. So, for instance, I'm a product of these sort of teachings in the Red Pill community, which they teach enlightened self interest, which means you cannot help people as well as when you help yourself first. Okay, you need to be a man that can help other people to help other people effectively. If you do what I did for years, where I just constantly gave away my time, didn't charge people, help people move, help people learn about setting up their computers and things like that, all for free, not charging a dime, because I thought they cared about me. And then these same people, when I stopped being useful to them, all cut me out of their life. And basically would just tell me when I would try to talk to them, be like, yeah, I'm feeling kind of depressed and not feeling like I could live. and they're just like, well, you should seek professional help. And then I go and I start seeking like professional help. I talked about this on one of the podcasts, right? Where I'm getting conflicting information from people and they're telling me this, that, and the other thing, and it just made it worse, right? And they're telling me they're trying to get me to take drugs, right? They're like, here, you're depressed, so take these drugs. And then I have like 4 or 5 friends that committed suicide after getting on these drugs.
I was actually giving you knowledge in your chat
and-
earlier.
And I'm gonna throw a grenade. I'm gonna throw a grenade in the room.
Oh,
And that's why, as a high value man is a man that gets used.
To be honest with you, that's exactly like if other people are labeling you as high value, you have a value, a meaning to them. So that's what it's for. People don't judge you based on how you treat yourself. They judge you based on how you treat them and what they see. So, and then to answer Beach's question, so the action that comes along with it is that one, they have to live as an example of what they're teaching. The 5%ers, from what I can understand, is as they're teaching you knowledge of self, they're showing you the benefits of having knowledge of self. And so what it does is it increases self-esteem, it increases self-efficacy, meaning you feel like you can go out there and you can do things that are in your heart desire. They make you more independent. They help you to be more basically it lessens the tension in the world once everybody feels responsible for themselves and willing to put in the work to do the thing instead of just complaining.
Topaz, that's the key word. That's the key word.
Basically they're not going to do it for you. They're going to teach you to do it yourself. Teach a man to fish, he can eat forever. Give him a fish, he can eat for a day.
Right, but that's breaking it down not to the bone but to the bone marrow. You know what I'm saying? When you teach somebody something, you actually give them a piece of yourself, because that's the wisdom, aka today. You know what I'm saying, of how you gain that knowledge. So when you speak it into somebody, you know what I'm saying, and teaching them something, you teaching them how to fish, you teaching them a piece of what you learn and how you are. So they may.
And let me say this: in our community, we do have a self-esteem problem, and we could debate all day. We could talk about the history of where that comes from, but the bottom line is there is a self-esteem problem in the Black community. So if there's a teaching and if there's a course of knowledge out there that can help Black people feel better about themselves, they will then put in the work, and you'll notice the lightening of tension in our community, and you'll also notice better behaviors, things that can help us. And what we will do is it could also be the absence of actions. So, people forget that part. It's not just technically what you do, it's also what you don't do. So a lot of the dysfunction will stop. Those behaviors that we find problematic will be eliminated. So it will take out some action as well. That's important for us to do. And so that's what I try to bring to my channel.
Why wouldn't you understand? Why wouldn't you understand that you are God? Like, you have the power to do anything that he has. But see, a lot of y'all look at that word or that saying God like, is on a higher plane. When you really listen, when you really
you gotta want to reach that plane. The thing that religion and society does is tell you that you're not, that it's wrong for you to want to reach that. That is selfish. That is narcissistic, and it's not.
This is shit I be hitting a lot of Bible thumpers with. Wasn't like in the Bible, wasn't like God like wasn't he like one of the grimiest dudes? When he ain't like something, he destroyed everything.
He was a killer
in that book.
If he didn't like it, it went away. And basically what happens is God in the Bible is self-actualized. And so let me just say this, with my career, I'm a therapist, so I practice a lot of psychology, right? And so, the religion can only hurt you if you are people don't explain Christianity such that a person feels capable of managing their own life. They teach you an external locus of control. And what that does is that means the people that walk up to you who are self-knowledgeable can use you as a pawn because you feel like things happen to you. You don't recognize your actions that you're taking by going along with this person or doing what it is that they're saying. That's why I don't like people who prophesize and they don't know what they're talking about, because my biggest pet peeve is for people to walk up to me and tell me what I'm going to do, and that's either they're actually trying to like
And that's
control
why
me, or either they're acting like they're psychic. I hate
and
that
that's why
because
and that's why people don't take accountability because they think that somebody's gonna come and judge them. Like, yo, I'm not gonna take accountability. God has judged me. And that makes
So,
that throws
how do you
accountability
feel
out the
about
but
that?
here's
window.
the thing with
What's
That throws
Christianity.
it
Hold
out the
on.
window. That
Hold
throws
on.
it out the
Hold
window.
on. One second. I'm gonna say this real quick. Here's the thing that people forget about Christianity. If you read the entire Bible, when it gets to the end, the point of it is that once we got free will, it's kind of like God saying, you know what? Y'all wanted to know everything. Y'all wanted to be a part of the decision. You wanted to be grown. Okay, cool. You wanted free will. You got it. Now you better use it to the best of your ability. So you don't get to just say anymore in Christianity when you get to the end of the Bible, you realize you don't get to just say, oh, well, this is God's will. This is what he wanted. No. We ask as humans, what it teaches us is that we ask for free will by eating off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Once you have that knowledge, you are responsible for utilizing it appropriately. And the point of human behavior is we can't always predict everything. That's we're not capable of being psychic.
Basic instructions before leaving
Before leaving
Earth.
Earth.
Basic, so it's basic, it's mediocre. When you get to a
Basic.
higher level, then you get to then become more in control of not only yourself but everything that is around you.
It just gives
So
you a foundation. That's all it does.
exactly. And
It
you
just
build,
gives you a
what is the
foundation.
foundation for? Is for you to
Huh?
build on
Uh
it.
oh.
If
Uh
you just
oh.
sit there, like when you
Uh
build a
oh.
house, you don't just sit there on, you don't like put couches on the foundation, just a plot in the middle of the land.
I
You
think
have to actually
Topaz is
build a house
wisdom.
over it and around it. So the rest of that is all
You just
you.
don't know it yet.
Yeah, Topaz is wisdom.
She ain't Chuck.
Topaz
She
is
Oh,
ain't.
thank
wisdom.
She ain't Chuck
Topaz
that
is wisdom.
triple
and
O being yet.
the
She ain't messed with the real
foundation
God
that
yet.
matters too, because the
exactly.
foundation is
Beach
gonna matter
Beach
too,
is a
because if
wisdom
you
too. Beach
fall
is wisdom on another level. That's what I'm
great
saying. There's different levels to this
She
God
is,
shit.
because
fall,
you
I
know
see
what?
people
I
still
Beach
respect
is
fall
a
about
all the
Beach
wisdom
time.
is she
too.
Hey,
had
hold
questions
on.
and she
I
came
think
up here and asked them. She
she's trying
was
to say
like, no,
something.
hold on, y'all. Look, I got questions, and
I
she
want
came
to
up
Yeah.
here and
know.
asked them.
My bad, Beach. My bad. Good, Beach. My bad.
Simple questions. I asked almost, about the women. How do you feel about, how do you personally feel about minimalism, feminine, just a couple of things. I mean, look, somebody up here, you got two women up here. You're not going to get much between me and us. We're going to ask some questions.
Oh yeah,
Nah,
look, I get questions
nah.
all the
I
time.
heard
That's the
the
whole reason
crap.
Beach,
for
Beach,
streaming.
Beach.
I
I
know
get
I've
it.
heard
I get
someone's.
it.
I've
I
heard
get
these
it, Beach.
teachings. I just didn't know the name.
Nah,
I
Beach. No,
heard
I
these
get it,
teachings.
Beach. Hold on, real quick, Beach. I get it. Y'all gonna y'all gonna give pushback, and that will happen because the way of the Lord of the land. This is what a lot of brothers don't get. With relationships, the Lord of the land has a lot to do with that shit. The Lord of the land gives y'all a one up on the men, and they do that for a reason because they know if we was to come together and really move on the same accord, that'd be a problem for them.
Okay, hold on, Kane, because here's my thing about that, right? So I
Okay.
think women are meant to ask, to bring pushback, and the reason is because the truth will always prevail. So if you don't ever have any pushback, then your truth has not been tested and
Mm-hmm.
proven.
No,
So
but that's what
therefore, the
women.
pushback,
That's
like,
part of y'all job. Y'all part of y'all
exactly.
job
And you
to
know
check.
why? Because it helps. Like, here's the thing: the more pushback you get, and the more times you win over that pushback, gives your argument more credence.
I have no
So
problem with that.
therefore, you need that. It's important,
I have no
because
problem
what
with
about
that.
all the people that come after that have questions that are detractors, right?
I have no
Like,
problem with.
you basically, they'll see, oh, somebody already asked this question and it was already debunked. So, and once you get to the end of that, once you get to the end of what anybody could ever question you, your truth has survived all of that, and it is now unquestionable. But in order to get to that, you do have to have been questioned. So that's why I tell parents it's not a bad thing. Don't squelch your kids' questions. Answer them. I wish I would say that a kid was able to out question my knowledge. That means I don't know enough. So I don't get mad at kids for questioning. I feel like that's their job. And another belief that I have, babies are closer to what like basically they're closer to God because they have come to this earth and they don't have any of the hangups that we have been taught and learned.
Now
So
they wide
if
open.
you
It's
can't
open.
like
Yeah, it's
if you
open.
can't talk to a kid, that's because you have fucked up. Like you are a fucked up person because you have gotten so far away from what we are as a people and also as what God, whatever you believe in being,
Nah, but it goes
has
back.
created.
It goes back to what I'm saying. Like the man is supposed to be the knowledge, and the woman is supposed to be the wisdom. And knowledge is to know your ledge and know. And the woman is supposed to be the wisdom, and she passes that down to the understanding. The understanding is the kids. That's
Exactly.
where
They
you
come
show
here.
your understanding. The understanding comes from the man making his wisdom understand what he's dealing with, and that's where his wisdom
Oh
pushes.
yeah,
His
I see.
wisdom.
Y'all definitely pushing the men because I
Nah,
see
I'm always
how
on
you feel
men
about the
neck because
men.
it's always about us.
But,
Trust and believe. I know y'all are with the shits. A lot
I
of
see
y'all women.
I see this is based off this hip hop stuff. I see it. This
No,
is hip
no,
hop.
it's
This
not
is
based.
what.
No, see, no, it's not based off of hip
Hey,
hop.
Topaz, put my thumbnail back up for the God.
I know I read where Malcolm X and there was that Clarence guy. He
Clarence 13
but
X.
only know
Clarence 13
current
X.
and former members of the
Oh, you know
association. You
someone?
know what
Beach
saying?
know somebody.
His Daddy
She knows somebody.
Kane, Busta
There you go.
Rhymes,
There you go.
Cypher
All those,
Sounds,
all those
Planet
brothers in
Asia.
Erica
charge.
Badu, who wearing crystals on
Oh,
the
me.
phones, want to wear
My
deodorant.
dog's
Girl,
The
sipping on.
if you don't
motivating
put them
hip hop
crystals down and
that
put
we
on deodorant,
heard,
she around
like
here real
the East
musty.
Coast,
You doing
Hip
okay?
hop that
Listen,
we
I'm gonna
heard
be
that was
wearing my deodorant.
motivating is probably
Okay.
from the Five Percenters.
Jay-Z is not a confirmed member.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
not.
not.
so
He's
this
not.
is some hip hop
But
stuff.
he's not. You're absolutely right, Beach. He's not.
So y'all
But
spitting.
but
I got it.
in a lot
Look,
of.
I'm already
And
on
yeah,
gang.
Beach.
I
I
like
see
you
Beach.
see
You
Yeah.
know
how
what it
quick
is. Beach. Stop.
He floss
I
flagging,
got through
yo.
this.
Beach.
I already
Yeah,
read
she
through
Beach
this.
over.
Hey,
Beach with
Topaz,
the
put my
shits.
thumbnail back up right quick.
Beach with the
Okay.
shits.
No,
Beach
I
with
got
Beach
through
know
this
what it
because
is.
I
She know
forgot
about
that
it. She got knowledge herself.
I do study Masonic teachings. Y'all forgot. I'm still like I was able to read through that real quick. Like I mean I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think that's if that's what works for somebody to have something to talk about. I mean,
But how
hip
can
hip
you
hooray. I
deny
don't
it?
say it's hip
How you
hop.
could deny it?
It's
How can you
words.
deny it? But Beach, how can you but Beach,
I don't
how
know
can
about
you
no
deny it?
oaths. I mean, it's definitely not
Beach.
it's not nationally recognized. It
Exactly.
is
See, key
denouncing.
word.
This would not work with anybody who could say who actually. But
Nah,
you'd have
but
to
I
believe
see
in someone must
Beach,
deny Christ.
Beach,
Okay, to
Beach.
believe in the 5%, like
Yeah,
for me
she
to
can't hear
actually
me.
do things, they don't do anything. They wouldn't work
Beach
for me.
can't hear
They
me.
might work for you, but you're not a follower of Christ. See what I'm saying? You're not somebody that's like you're not in that whole bride of Christ. What? No matter how you name it, because even Christians isn't a proper name, but be like all antichrist. Reading these exact teachings that I just read and summed up because they don't have that much.
I'm gonna
This
walk
is
off.
antichrist.
I'll be back.
So I cannot be.
Okay.
Listen,
Beach got it.
I cannot serve two masters. I know that. You will love one and hating the other. You have to pick a master. So if your master would be the 5%, and my master is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, all in one, then it wouldn't never work because those two
Beach.
different.
Okay, no, see, here's the thing.
You cannot serve both.
That's some deep predators.
Wait, hold up, Beach, because the
right
5%er, the thing is you're your own master, is what is their knowledge. That's their teachings. So there isn't a master outside of you.
Right. So you can't believe a master, then you can't believe in the Lord of our Lords, and you can't go you're putting yourself at the top. Like I read that, I looked at the number when God was like, "What's on there?" Like number 6. You got yourself first. Like y'all was number some God far down there. I'm like, hold on, you don't put yourself on God. Well, I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna tell you like this, and buddy, it's nothing personal. I think y'all are more equipped and prepared. I wouldn't dare I like you guys. I would dare go there, but I, he came up here talking. I'm like, buddy, you I need you to do something for me. I need you to prove something. Like you're talking, I need you to show me a miracle. Just show me, like, because maybe I can't. We can put it to the test. We could test the spirits. We've actually done these many, many times, and it has not ended. Some people, like, it just went to, it's like it's Christ or Antichrist, and you don't know. You can do whatever you want. We're free to do if we want. Just like talking about the tree of knowledge. I mean, if you go listen to somebody tell things in your ear, maybe you should be asking questions. Like, see how Topaz said she asked questions. See, I wouldn't have been that. First of all, I would have been like, "What are you doing in my garden?" Because my man made this garden with his God and my God. And
man, I thought about that before.
We don't know.
I was like, man, like, look, I would have never even fell for that shit. But all right, it is what it is.
Right. And then Topaz, this is how what's so jacked up about that, and no one catches it. The men threw the woman under the bus. See, when God said when he came, it was like, why are you naked? And he knew what they did.
No, he asked who told you were naked, because
they under the bus. He said
wait, hold on, B. Hold on, B. So what happened was,
what are y'all talking about? I walked off.
This some 85er shit, dog. This some 85er shit they talking about.
Christianity. So here's what happened, right? They hid when God came out to talk to them, because now this day they knew they were naked, so they hid in modesty. And so he was like, "Well, what are y'all doing?" And they were like, "We hid because we were ashamed." And he said, "Who told you were?" And that's how he knew that they had eaten the tree of good and evil, because they knew.
Hold on, wait a second. Y'all talking about Adam and Eve story?
Y'all talking about Adam and Eve, dude.
Okay. I just want to know where y'all was at. So I know
because we was talking about how we would have never fell for that, because that was a dumbass setup. And then B said that the man threw the woman under the bus. He did, but in the story, God was like, that don't matter. Here's another thing. If men are Christians, God was like, that don't matter. I don't care what she did. What did I tell you though? So he still was like, don't talk to me about women. I gave you the instruction. I didn't talk to women. So either way, like any religion that you have, is still gonna say that the responsibility is the man.
I get what y'all talking about. I get what y'all talking about, but this is the thing. This is the thing, though. I get what y'all talking about, but this is the thing. Y'all don't, as women, I know y'all not dumb at all. Trust me, I know this for a fact. When y'all listen to that story, do y'all not see the flaws in that story? Do y'all not see the flaws in that story? How that story sounds crazy. I know y'all. I know, and this is why for people that's religion.
No, we're asked questions because this.
You have exactly. Hold on, Beach. Before you cut me off, Beach, I'm gonna let you rock. Beach, I'm gonna let you rock. That's where I get down.
Ended that way.
But Beach, when you listen to that story, you don't see a lot of flaws, and you point it out because you're about to do it. You're about to do it when I'm gonna let you talk, but you're about to point out the holes in that story. Go ahead, Beach.
No, actually not. I wasn't going to point the holes out. I was going to point out that those of us that ask questions, some of us are built different. Now, that doesn't mean Topaz would have been that Eve and she would have had that Adam. That was the first. No one said they was the last. They were in that garden. There are a lot of things that a person can think and say, and when I talk and I say, you know what type of man is like, you supposed to be like the man, why you didn't slap that dang on whatever out of my hand, man? You're just gonna let me go. Wait a second, Beach. What type of man are you?
Wait a second, Beach.
Everybody want to blame the woman, but it's
like I said, this is why I said I put myself in other people's shoes. Like you have to take yourself out of your shoes. That's probably what you would have did. put yourself in other people's shoes. Everybody ain't the same.
in
That's the
my
problem.
story.
And this is
or-
why. And this
and
is
some
why.
of
And
us
this is
wouldn't have, and that's
but
why their life
see,
is
but
going around and around.
beach. This is why for the 5%ers,
I also don't
for
listen
me,
to outside talk either, because I don't want to keep repeating the
this is
past. I
why.
want to
But
break
this is
it.
why.
I
This is why
want to
we
win
call
this
ourselves
time.
gods.
See, I get
Gods. That
where.
mean that you have the control of your life.
But that's a story of a
Everybody
past
is
that you don't really
different.
even know. You're taught different variations of
Yeah,
that
I mean,
story
I
too.
don't know.
So I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I read what the God.
it's all the
I
same.
read what it stood for. I mean,
That book is a
Well, and
book of
here's
deja
another
vu.
thing, right? Here's another thing. So growing up Christian, once I became an adult, I remember I, used to like corner my pastor as a kid. I was like 5 or 6 years old, right? I learned how to read early. So I was reading it. And, so I cornered my pastor and I was like, hey, I got questions. And so he's like, you know what? Write
Gotta
down
have
all
faith.
your questions. He was like, write down all your questions and then give it to me. And then I'm going to work on the answers and get back to you. And I remember that question, the list of questions was like at least 20 questions, right? And so, because I remember my pastor's reaction when he saw the list that I gave him, he was like, oh, you did it. And then B, okay. All right, well, this is going to take me some time. So I remember that. And so my point for that, one of the questions was, why do I have to pay for something somebody else did? If I wasn't there, like that's just unfair to me. And so that's something that has stuck with me about religion, because here's the thing. I don't understand, even to this day, my personality is, if you know something is going to end in a negative consequence, if somebody has given you a directive for your own good, why do you constantly need to go question it? It's certain things I ain't got to try to know that I don't like, that I know that I don't want. And yeah, there's a part of it that's the experience of somebody else. So I had to learn vicariously. The only way I know is because somebody else fell for it. But there's also a few things that I would have never even been curious enough to want to find out the answer by using my own life. And what I mean by that, let's do this. We had another stream yesterday. We was talking about crack, right? So there is a part of me that learned that I don't need to try it to know I don't like it based on what I saw other people doing. But then I also have to accept that part of me is I would have never been curious enough to need that type of escape for that to be something that I would have went out and did anyway. So either way, whether I learned from somebody else or whether it was just my own decision, either way, I would have never failed for that. But other people did. So my issue with that was still, like, even though he answered the question, is that we learned from that story, and that's how we know. What about what I know about myself based on the things that, and I feel like that's a good enough reason. Based on the things that I've been approached with. I've been approached with things that people thought were tempting, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need that. That don't sound fun. That don't sound like something I'm curious about. I do have a lot of curiosity, but certain things I know all I need to know. So yeah, to be honest with you, that story does have holes in it. But here's the thing.
Holes.
Yeah, it has a lot of holes in it, and you're not supposed to question it. But here's the thing. The point of all of that is that when you ask for something, you need to be ready to deal with the consequences. If you ask to know so that you're not kept in the dark anymore, if you ask to be enlightened, if you ask for knowledge and you gain it, now you have a responsibility, is to use that knowledge. You don't get to just sit back and be like, oh, okay, now I know, and then just move on in life. You have an act that is required. And sometimes there's inaction, things you're not supposed to do.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I guess
I
some of
agree
us
with
are
you.
asking for different things, then that's fair, because I don't need knowledge. I'm working with power, because I have to go with, okay, there's nothing left for me to do. I've broken every single commandment more than once. I mean, there's nothing, like, basically, if it wasn't for, if it wasn't somebody to get me out of what I did, I'd be, and I'm okay with that, because you know what, that shows me, when no one's safe, and I'm good with that. But what I also know is that I will put my works to the test, because see, works is what I see God do. There's a lot of things we could question, even If you stop, even with the questioning, I can see his works. And when I see his works, I have proof in my life where I didn't know. I know for a fact I used this right here. I had no clue what I was doing, and I said, okay, let me try this. I'm going to try to do the Jabez. I'm going to try to. I need to enlarge my territory. I don't have. This isn't enough for what I need to do. And I try and guess, and it worked with
Nah,
the
Beach.
people
Key,
that I
where
needed
what
to.
you saying that
What
you
I
saw that you saw
Hold on,
what you
okay.
needed to do.
actually, I mean, it's just faith. It's like that was my choice. Some people don't care about Jabez. They don't want more territory. I
But
can
that's
do
the
more. I need more
thing,
land, more
Beach.
territories. I can do more work for
Beach, the thing
good,
that I'm trying to show
and I
you is
got
that
it.
it was
Where there
on
are some
you.
people talking right now. What's your? I just want to something tangible, because guess what? All this knowledge and all that, keep it, because the power is gonna kill your knowledge. Because I know this.
No,
Okay, I got three things. I don't
no,
have fear.
Beach,
God,
Beach.
I don't.
Wait
He
a
didn't give me the
second. Wait
spirit
a
of fear.
second,
I got
Beach.
love.
Wait a second.
I
Knowledge
have
is
sound
power.
mind.
Knowledge is
I have
power,
power.
Beach.
Yeah, because
Knowledge
you have
is
to know
power,
first.
Beach. You have to
You have to
know
know
Knowledge is
first.
and then
power,
know what
man.
it means in terms of
I'm
wisdom,
not. I'm
and
Beach,
then
not
you
come
have to
talking
on.
about
apply
what
it.
I'm talking
And
about.
that's how
Okay.
you get the power.
Beach, the more you know because of the things you know right now, Beach, is what makes you powerful, what makes you be able to go out there and get your hustle on because
That's
you
why it's
know how
called
to
power
hustle.
refinement, though.
Yeah, but you have a lot of knowledge, and
You
that's
have
how you got
knowledge.
your like
That's
Yes,
you
why you
know
you're
winning,
things.
trying to
Beach,
tie
is the
those two.
Hey,
knowledge.
Beach. Hey, hold
You're
on. Hey,
What
trying to
you
Beach,
put
you got
those
know,
kids, right?
what you
together.
know, no, hold on, everybody. Beach, what you know is what make you strong right
Not
now.
gonna work. I
Beach, you
just
got
I,
kids,
No,
right?
I
but now,
did not
Beach, what makes you strong right now is
absolutely
because of what you know. Is a thing that you know. You might know something
no.
that nobody else knows, and that's what makes you strong. When you go out there and you get your grind on, it's because it's something that you
Why
know.
do I need to be strong when I'm, you know what? Why do I need to be strong when I know that he
Whoa.
told me my grace is sufficient for you? Because when you are
No,
weak, I am
Beach.
strong. I don't need to
Hold
be
No,
on,
it's
hold
strong
on,
all
because
the
of
Kane.
time. See, I
you.
can lay
Hey,
in my
Kane, hold
bed
on.
and not be strong because
Beach, that's
someone else
all
is going to
you,
be strong
Beach.
for me.
That's
Kane.
all you.
Hey, hold
The
on,
reason
Kane.
No,
people
it's
like
not
you.
on
Hold
me.
on, wait a second.
No,
Hold on.
that's
Beach.
you can take that
Beach,
teaching,
wait
let
a
that be for
second, Beach. Let me
you.
talk to you real
But for
quick, Beach.
me, it's not me.
Beach. Let me talk to you real quick, Beach. The reason people like you in these YouTube streets, if you want to take it to
Talk, but this
YouTube,
all it
could
is
be
is
on
talk.
YouTube, could be on YouTube right now. The reason people like you is because of you. It's not because of someone that made you who you are.
I
You
get it.
made yourself who
They
you
like
are.
me. But if they're liking me, guess what? They're gonna be surprised. It's a God in me that they like. It's not me. I'm not the one
No,
that's
you
making
think no,
the
but
moves
that's the
that get
thing.
made. I
That's the
don't have
thing,
that
Beach.
type of
Beach. I'm not trying to
someone.
take Beach. I'm not trying to take that away from you. If that's what you believe, I'm not trying to take that away from you. That's what you believe. What
Well,
I'm
you
trying
can't.
to tell you,
You couldn't. I mean, you
what
can't try to.
I'm not,
You can't take
I'm
away
not. That's
anything from me.
Beach. When
See,
you hear me say
you didn't
Beach,
get
I'm
it
not
through.
coming at you crazy, Beach. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you as my sister on some
No,
real
but
shit.
that.
What I'm trying to say is you.
But
I'm not taking nothing away from you. I'm
when you
telling
say
you
your
is
sister,
you.
tell me what do you mean by
The
that? Sister and
reason
how?
people like
Tell me
you,
how am I your sister?
the reason people like you, you know, everything I'm saying right now, Beach, is bigging up you. Everything
I
that I'm
don't
saying
want
right
them
now
to.
is bigging up you.
And
People
guess, and
like
I'm
you
telling
because of
you
you.
that the word I was told, don't be surprised if the world doesn't like people. Don't, but you're wrong. People don't like me.
No,
People will
Beach. We
tend to
don't
like me.
care
They
about the
really
people
don't.
that don't like you,
And I was
Beach.
already told.
Beach, I'm begging you. I'm out
I
of here. I'm on the
I
chopper.
don't
I'm
care
out of
about
here.
anybody not liking me because they didn't like Jesus.
I'm on the
He came to
chopper.
save the
Topaz, I'm
world.
on the
Okay,
They
chopper.
persecuted
okay,
him.
hold on, y'all.
I'm on the
Hold on.
chopper.
Because
I'm
listen,
on the chopper. I'm trying to big Beach up, and she won't
Nah.
accept
Look,
it.
look, look,
She won't
Kane,
accept
hold on. Hey, Kane, hold on.
I
This
won't
is what I
because
this
you
this is
gotta
what I would
okay,
Alvarez,
like
say.
this,
Alvarez.
Kane.
Beach,
You
Beach,
gotta accept
Beach,
this.
Beach,
I'm
you got
commanded
kids, right?
all of you.
You got kids, right?
I'm out of
Absolutely, I
here.
have a whole family.
I
And
got
I
no
Okay, you have
love.
a whole
kids,
I'm
family. Let's say
commanded
you
to love.
okay.
I got two command. I'm loving you guys. I'm told to love my enemies. I'm, all that stuff, and I'm love
no
you. But no
Beats.
matter what
Beat.
you say,
Hold
I'm
on, hold
gone.
on.
I
All
am
I'm out of
right,
here.
all right,
not
cool.
going to move over
I'm out
this
of here.
rock.
All right, cool. So
Tell
if
me when I can
knowledge
But I
is
speak.
still
power,
love
right?
you.
Knowledge is power, right? If knowledge is power, there's also refinement in that power.
You
So when you give your power to your family, and the way that you giving them from your knowledge, you actually refining that power.
I don't
So
give
that
them.
is all knowledge.
I don't give my family the power. They have their own.
I didn't say you give them power.
They have their
You
own.
give them refinement, because that is your power from the knowledge. Because if knowledge is
But how
power,
would
you're
you
giving
know
them
that?
part
You
of
don't know
you.
me from a campaign. You don't know what type. Like you have
No.
no clue what I do with
Beach,
my
I
family.
got
Like you don't know. You're just saying these things because
Beach, I
you're
got
like, you
number
cannot
love for
stroke
you.
my ego into making me feeling
I'm
good
not
about
trying to stroke
myself.
your
I
ego.
got number
And
love
And I'm
there's
for
not
you,
doing that
nothing,
either.
guys.
I'm not going. I'm not.
I'm
I'm
Yes.
not
respecting
walking.
his
So
I'm
I'm
not
ego,
going
walking
to
down
man.
this
I'm
block
going to
with
walk in
y'all. I'm
love.
sorry. I'm about to
That's
turn the
why I
other way.
said I'm about to
Topaz,
chopper.
I'm
Okay,
about to
okay,
turn the
so
Hey,
other
play the
here's the
way.
thing,
chopper.
It's
Play
right?
the
hard,
chopper.
you
Play the
guys.
chopper, King.
It's hard for you all to
Morning chopper.
understand. Some people will reject what you're teaching. You got to understand, and just like you will reject mine, but that doesn't mean I don't love you. I
No, and I
reject.
I
You
understand
don't
don't
what you're
reject
deserve
saying.
your
me,
energy.
Matt.
Okay,
Beach, I
And I've
understand what
hold
you're
told
on,
her.
hold
saying.
on. So here's
Beach,
what I hear.
I've been
Here's
going
what
through
I
this
hear,
for
right?
20
Love.
years.
I
I
just
love
gave her the
you
whole
though.
thing, dog. I gave her the whole thing in one
And
No,
Beach,
you
I
didn't
fuck
give
with
me
one
Beach.
sweet
Beach is
anything.
my
thing.
sister, man. I got love for
It was
Beach,
like
man.
it
I
felt
don't
on
know
the
what's
ear.
going on. I'm thrown off right now.
Okay, because y'all are saying the same thing, but it's coming
Exactly.
from
I'm
I
thrown
different
like
off.
views. And that is like life. Okay. So here's the thing. They're giving you their version of a compliment. And so Beach is saying, this is my belief and
there.
this is how I'm gonna receive that. So it's not a reason to fight. That's how she's reading
Yeah,
it,
I'm not trying to
and that's
fight
what
that.
y'all are
I'm
giving.
not trying
And
to
that's what
fight.
I'm doing. I'm not trying to
Right.
fight.
I'm
I'm
not
trying to tell her,
fighting at
Beach,
all.
Right,
I got number
exactly.
love. I
Exactly.
respect what you're saying, Beach. I respect it to the fullest. Trust and
Because when you
believe.
give people knowledge, they're going
You
to
don't have to
They take
translate
it
respect
it
it, though.
differently. They
Like
take
and
into
it
look,
what
differently.
they
as you're not
understand.
human,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that.
Nah, but I'm saying, Beach. It's not that I'm Beach.
Well, I
I'm not
love you
one of
guys
these
regardless,
YouTube
but I
Beach.
don't
I'm
want you
not
to
one of
talk
these
to me blue in the
YouTube
face.
dudes, man. I'm not one of these YouTube dudes, and I know that's why Topaz hollered at me like, "Yo, Kane, let's do it. Let's do a show," because I'm not one of these YouTube dudes. Like
I
Because
don't
I'm
I
know.
know
doing
it was
this
gonna end
YouTube
well.
shit,
It
and I
wasn't
know
gonna
it
end
sounds
in
crazy
like,
because I am on
yeah.
YouTube. So it's like, yo, yeah, you are a YouTube nigga. Yeah, and really and truly, yes, I guess I am a
I don't
YouTube guy.
know.
But what I'm trying to bring to the table is not what you expect, and I got nothing but love for you, sis. I got nothing but love for you.
No, you're
I hear
good.
what you're
You can
saying.
bring to the table or wherever table you're sitting at. I'm not at the table with you. We're not at the same table. So I need you to all to understand. If someone puts a plate of food and fork in front of me, I fork through it. I don't just start
Yeah,
eating. I fork through it and I look and I choose what parts of this dish fit into my life going to make sense to me, and the other part I reject
and this
immediately.
is why,
It's nothing personal. It's not against you.
and this
It's
is why I was saying
my
you got knowledge of self, and this is why I say you got knowledge of
way,
self.
and my way. It's not even my way. It's just I'm automatically taught to reject it. Like I still love you though, like because I have to,
But that's
and I'm
Beach knowing
commanded to,
her.
and I
Like
actually
you
want
gotta
Yeah,
to,
know you
but
to
I'm
know
not
what
gonna
yeah,
you are gonna
reject.
listen to and what you're not going to.
yeah.
So okay, so look, all right, so y'all listen, it's been 3 hours, so we are going to
I got
start
the
with
after
final
joint.
thoughts. And if y'all want a part two, if y'all got questions, leave them in the comment section after this video because I'm not gonna do 12-hour streams. I can't. I don't have it. I can tell you right now, I'm
Topaz
not
is all
capable.
good. I got
I
the
know my
follow
limits.
up.
That's my ledge. Okay. I'm not gonna do
Oh,
12
she
hour
know her
stream.
ledge. Topaz
I
know her
can't.
ledge.
I
Topaz
cannot
know
do
her
it.
ledge. There you go.
Y'all
I
hit
taught you
that
something
cash
new.
app for real. Like this some good knowledge
Yeah,
here today.
come on now. It was a little
Oh,
bit more I
y'all.
wanted to say. It's a little bit more I wanted to say, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It was a good interview though. Topaz, I appreciate you having me up here, man. Appreciate you. I
Thank you for
appreciate you.
coming through.
Oh, you know I mess with you, Topaz. Come on, man. I'm
No,
not one
you
of these
don't.
dudes. I'm God body. And that's the way I flex. And I'm gonna do the after joint. Like right after this is all over, y'all could come over and hang out with
Yeah, you
me.
got listen, Kane.
I'm
You
about to
got to
turn
title
up.
it Topaz After Stream because I've never had one.
Oh, there we
I want an
go.
after stream.
I'm about
Somebody
to
to
do
do an
that right
after party.
now.
This stuff
Hey,
I
I'm
I'm
about to
do.
do
down,
that
man.
right
I'm
now.
down. Let's
I'm
go to the
about to do.
wisdom joint,
Hey,
man.
y'all
Today's
already know.
wisdom.
I party over there where I'm at. I'm a party. YouTube is on me. YouTube
I'm
be like,
finna
yo,
get mine
Kane,
on
you
the
with the
fourth,
shit.
Now
man.
listen, after this, I'm gonna go get me something to eat real quick, but I'll be over there in a second.
Hey, no
There you
pork
go.
rinds.
There
No
you
pork
go.
rinds, all right?
Okay,
No
no
pork
pork
rinds
rinds. First of all,
allowed.
pork rinds are
Yeah,
gross.
don't do that.
Ugh, whose
Yeah,
idea
get to
was
the
that? Like, it
chopper.
made me want to throw up. Like, yeah, listen, y'all know I
And
got a big
Viking,
stomach. I will throw up hearing
Viking,
that.
you can pull up on me, Viking. Look up Kane the God. I ain't gonna drop no links. I don't be doing nothing. Everything I'm doing, I'm
Yeah,
getting out the mud.
I'm
My
dropping my
channel,
link.
I got a few subscribers.
I'm gonna drop
It's
my
getting
link.
up there. Yeah,
Right?
I get
And
you.
listen,
But
new
there you
drop
go,
his
new.
too, because
I'm gonna drop
listen,
it.
Kane need to
Yeah,
stop.
I
Like,
dropped it earlier.
this is
That's
I
dropping
don't
look,
be
this
science.
is
doing that. I
part
don't
of
be
the
doing
divine
that.
I'm
intervention.
dropping
Okay,
the leap
you
of
don't want to drop
science.
it, but we gonna drop it. So
There
it
you
still get
Dropping the
go.
leap
dropped.
I
of science,
appreciate it,
yo.
man. I got nothing but love for y'all. Y'all know I'm always coming support. I'm always gonna come and support. I think I need the Topaz Cash App.
Yeah, look,
I'm
it's
gonna
in the
hit
chat.
it.
I pinned the messages, scrolling across the bottom. It's my
Let's
cash app all
can.
over the stream.
Oh, well,
But
let me
people
see what
just been
that is.
ignoring it.
I wear
Shout out
glasses.
to American Negro though for
Oh,
hitting the cash app.
there you go. There you go. There you go.
So
But
let's
yeah,
do final
I'm gonna
thoughts. We're
fire
gonna
it up.
start with Viking Beach, New, then Kane.
Nah, y'all can start with me because I'm about to fire it up. I'm about to fire it
Okay,
up.
cool.
This is gonna be the Topaz after stream. We're gonna
That's
keep
what's
the
up.
conversation going.
I
But
made
y'all know when y'all come to
it.
my spot, I'm gonna drop that music on y'all. We're gonna party. We're gonna make it really be a party. Cause I'm Topaz. I started drinking halfway through this stream.
I've been
I'm
drinking beer
feeling
all
pretty
day. I'm finna get
nice.
on that Douce once you get fired up,
Oh
son.
well, dude, yeah, it's about to
Yeah,
go
and Viking,
down.
what's in that big ass
You know
what
how I
is
get
it? That
down.
what do you call it? It's not a
Viking, pull up
canteen.
on me.
What's in that huge ass canteen?
You drinking
Viking, pull
water.
up on me, man. Kane the
Oh,
Just
God.
water.
Oh, he got
oh.
water. Easy water. I got this. I got water.
Look, I've been
Kane the
drinking water
God.
the whole stream
Pull up
too.
on me, Kane the God. We about to make it pop off. Topaz, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Sorry for saying, man. My bad. I appreciate you, Miss Lady.
Thank you for
Topaz.
coming over and giving us the knowledge.
There you go. We're gonna do a part 2 because I didn't really get to get into deep the history to let people know what the history is. 'Cause I know a lot of people are still looking like, yo, he said he was God. Yes, I am God, Cain the God. And there's a lot y'all can learn on that. Come over and check me out on my channel, Cain the God. Look that up. Y'all gonna see it. And I appreciate you once again, Topaz. I appreciate you, and I mess with you. You already know I'm subscribed, and I shall definitely support the channel for sure. Topaz, y'all
Well, thank you,
like,
Kane.
subscribe, do all that good stuff. Subscribe, Topaz. We in the building. But come check me out. We about to have the after stream. Topaz after stream. Yeah, I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna be the
Okay,
first.
hold on. More cash apps. So first
Topaz.
of all, American Negro hit the cash app. Beach shared the
Yeah.
stream out.
Yeah.
Shout out to New for hitting the cash app. Shout out to Darth Low IQ for hitting the cash app.
There you
So
go.
yeah, thank y'all. You know, I try to bring some information. Hopefully this is helpful to those of you who wanted to know, who had questions. Because listen, if I got questions, I'm gonna ask. So
There
this will
you
be the
go.
channel where you can get your questions answered. And if
A
y'all have any
wise.
additional topics that y'all want to discuss and bring the information on here, comment in the comment section below.
A wise man and a wise woman asked the question why. That's not a dumb question. Like why? Why?
The only
Why?
dumb
Why do you
question
feel
is the
that way?
question that went unasked. That's what my grandpa and my dad always told me.
There you
And if you
go.
know the meaning of
All right,
words, the
I'm
English
gonna
language.
down to,
Beach, come pull up on me. Beach, it's about to be a party.
I just want to say it
Beach,
was nice to come up, have
Beach,
this
Beach, can you hear
conversation.
me? Beach, I know Beach is trying to fade out. Beach, can you hear me?
I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Beach,
I've done this.
Beach.
I've done
Nobody's
this
asking you to
dance so
switch
many
over.
times. It's like
Beach,
the electric
Beach
slide.
got that
I'll
one way.
see.
Beach
I'll
got
see.
that
Nobody's
one way
asking
I
phone.
anybody
may
to
pull up
switch
on you.
over.
Beach got that one way phone.
I might.
She
But
got
it
that
was nice to
religious
talk to you
All
phone.
guys.
Beach
I
can do is
appreciate
talk out.
any
All Beach
type
can
of
do is talk out.
men.
Beach,
Guys, let me give me. This is I told you
I
already
want
how
you to
y'all
get
feel
yours
about
off.
women. Why y'all won't let us
Beach,
get that word out?
pull up on me.
I want to say
Beach,
it's
after
nice,
show. Came to
regardless.
God.
She said she'll think about it.
Yeah, she can't hear me. All right, Beach, I'm out of here.
Regardless what you own and what I own, I am happy to be able to get on a panel with people who can speak and no one disrespects the other person. People can talk like civilized human beings, regardless of what you think, believe, any of that. This is nice for me to see that nobody ain't about to pull up and fight like that because because somebody didn't agree. I mean, really, let people can agree to just say, you do you, and I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna love you regardless. Because the bottom line, that's all I got for you. I don't have anything else. I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna always step off with the left foot. Okay. I am indoctrinated. I do the things that I do for many, many decades, over half my life. And I know the works that were done for me. And the works that were done for me I can never ever pay back what was done for me. And I don't go into those type of stories because I just feel like, it makes you vulnerable. You never know who's going to use it. I know that I didn't redeem myself. I know that when I was in a place and I know who I called out, and I know I'm going to tell you right now, somebody showed up. So all I can tell you is this. When I was down and I only had one name to call, so that I didn't dead, my kids didn't end up dead, and I called on them and they showed up. I didn't call, and I stand on that, and I don't preach. I'm not a Bible thumper. Yes, I could go toe to toe really with the debates, but I'm not. I do it already. I already have the Masonic teach. I really do. I have to save my energy, y'all. This stuff gets deep. Okay, I know about the supreme mathematics. I got a more that does that. Then I do this. Look, I'm that. Look, y'all talking to a whole. I've been for a long time. I just want to understand what you're about, and I respect that, But at the end of the day, it's love kind of always keep me from, not coming at you in a way that disrespectful or not being able to have a conversation. I'm gonna tell you this: my final words, that I am built on a rock. Period. I will not move.
Okay.
And that's all I got to say on this platform. All right. I love you all.
All right, Bobby, thanks for coming up. Always a pleasure. Okay, Viking, how about you? And Kane, you said you was going to go do that stream. Okay, so maybe he went already. Okay, so Viking, how about you? Final thoughts. What do you think about today's stream?
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I love being able to come up and share some of the knowledge I've hoarded over the years. For anybody that doesn't know, Beach actually asked a very good question before. What do you have in terms of action you've gained from this knowledge? What are you doing? How do you apply this to your life? And what I've done is I was obese. I became not obese. I am now the ideal weight. I put on 10 pounds of muscle in the last 2 months, and I'm still burning fat. So I am. The plan was for a 2-year fitness plan. I worked with Myron Gaines to come up with this. He's the guy at Fresh Fit Podcast. For anybody that doesn't know, he's my fitness mentor. I mod over there. I helped him out with their internet. So if anybody that's been watching them for a while, you saw their internet was kind of choppy and stuff like that. I know everything about the YouTube algorithm because I was in the Machinima Partner Network when I was a loser and I was looking for a cheat code. I didn't find a cheat code, so I disregarded the knowledge I gained. But after I woke up and realized what value I had sitting right in front of me, that I was lying to myself that it wasn't valuable. And I saw all the people having trouble and getting put into YouTube timeout where they weren't getting new viewers. I know how to fix that. So I created a channel because Afi was like, dude, just start making content. Get on it, dude. Stop sitting on it. Just do it. He's like, you got fire bars, man. Start talking. So that's what I did. So if you guys are interested in what I'm going to be bringing to the market in terms of my information about the YouTube algorithm and how to set up proper streaming tech and stuff like that, for anybody that doesn't know, if you want to learn how to build a PC and get it online and use it to put your message out there, I know how to do all that. So if you are interested, Just follow me, and I'm busting my ass to bring this information to people so they can use it to make changes in their lives and get their information out there, whatever it is you want to sell. You know, it's all about you. It comes back to your mindset, and your body is your mind. That's the number one thing I've learned over the last year, and how messed up my head got. If you're not in good health and you're putting food into your body on mass that is unbalancing your chemistry, your biology that God gave you, you need to get that right. That's not an accident that it's unbalancing you. And this is why so many people feel unbalanced. They're taking drugs to rebalance themselves. You don't need to do that in a lot of cases. Some cases you do. Some people actually have imbalances that are natural. But most people just need to eat the correct amounts of food and study what foods are actually beneficial for you, and eat 80% beneficial foods rather than junk food. I still eat junk food, but it's only 20% of my diet. And I can still lose weight while doing that because I count the calories. And everybody's, ooh, calorie counting. Don't let calorie counting scare you. Study it, learn it, find out how your body works and how you can dial that in. And your mind will be better, and the information that you have will be more valuable because you'll be able to see the more complete picture. So that's my final thoughts. Thank you for having me.
Okay, and I did put I put Viking's channel earlier in the chat. So, you know, y'all don't have any excuse. Go back, read, and watch, and find the time where I dropped it. Okay, because that's good knowledge over there that can be beneficial. And thank you for coming up and bringing the parts to the discussion that you brought. Okay, bye, Viking. New, what's up? What you got for the people?
I just think that people think that this might be a religion. It's not a religion. It is a knowledge of self about how you know yourself, and then how you spread yourself around other people, you know, who come into your space. You know what I'm saying? So Viking learned something about, you know, a weight loss or certain things like that. Beach is stuck on her rock. She's a Taurus, and that's fine. Because I know Tauruses, but I also know people. It's not that 5%ers go around knocking on doors trying to convert, keyword con. You know what I'm saying? It is just about a knowledge of self. We just move a little different in the fact that we don't have a triple O figurehead being, which is your God. You know what I'm saying? We just say that we are God because we move like that. We move in a certain way where we are doing the things, you know, that we do in our own life. So if you know who you are, you know what I'm saying, and then people come into your life, you give them a piece of who you are. So I mean, it's not a conversion, but it is some type of knowledge. If you take nothing from any conversation you have, then you weren't listening. And that's pretty much just the way I look at it. Because I always say that I don't debate with 85ers. I don't debate with religious people in general. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, you know, religious people always asking about, well, what does that do? What do you do for the other people? Well, you're still a human. So there's secular things behind that. You know, I mean, it really ain't hard. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna be stuck in a box on one thing and never learn about anything else from other people? You can deal with the same people, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? You can always just deal with one group of people. I mean, those are alikes in all actuality. But the thing is, like, to know other people and know about different things, then that means you just gonna kind of be just stuck in you know, one dimension per se. So I'm all about spreading some type of knowledge, and knowledge is just having a conversation. That's seriously what knowledge is all about, is having a conversation. That's pretty much all I got.
Okay. Now I do want to say thank you guys for the cash apps from Beautifully Animated, also from Fahim Divine. Thank you guys so much for hitting the cash app. I really appreciate it. That helps me. I do put it back into the channel, and it helps me bring great, better content to y'all. Okay, so thanks so much, New, for coming up. I appreciate everything you guys have had to say. My final thoughts is I got a lot of my questions answered. I've heard things that were being said, going, you know, from people who I didn't know at the time were 5%ers, and I was curious because it did sound like something that was already part of my belief system. It sounded like the missing component to how I felt about religion. So I'm grateful that we were able to have this discussion today. It is, of course, you take from it what you need, what's helpful to you, and you leave the rest. So I appreciate everybody coming up, being able to have a respectful conversation. I appreciate all the members in the chat, all the cash apps, sharing the streams. Thank y'all so much, and thank you so much for watching the replay as well. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.